A major shakeup in Toronto. I'm Chris Smith. Masai Ujiri is out as vice chairman and president after 13 seasons with the Raptors. And ESPN's Tim McMahon says he won't be unemployed for long.
This is a guy who's proven he can build not just a contender, but a championship team, making a blockbuster trade to bring in a Danny Green. I think there's somebody else involved in that deal too, a guy named Kawhi. But seriously, the guy built a sustained contender in Toronto, got them to the mountaintop, and if you're looking for somebody to run your franchise, I think you've got to start right here.
Ujiri won the NBA's Executive of the Year award in 2013 before leading Toronto to their only NBA title in 2019, the only team outside the United States to accomplish that feat. Baseball Seattle catcher Cal Raleigh, who leads the majors in homers with 32, will participate in next month's Home Run Derby. Raleigh said he hopes his 15-year-old younger brother can serve as catcher while his dad pitches to him. In the W, Caitlin Clark will miss her second straight game due to a groin injury, knocking the Fever Star out of what would have been a matchup against Wings rookie Paige
Hey, it's
Becker.
resident Super Bowl champ Chris Candy coming up Monday. Whether it's NBA free agency rumors or Major League Baseball, I'll react to it all in my Upon Further Review at 7 a.m. Eastern. It's Unsportsmanlike weekday mornings at 6, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
That's right.
Welcome in a Friday edition of After Further Review. Matt Moscona still on vacation. We are hanging out with you here for the next 3 hours as we are working towards the weekend here at 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Filling in for Matt Moscona, as I was yesterday. Taylor Sharp. Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
And Mr. Jacob Beck. All right, we got a lot to cover today. We have LSU football. We have New Orleans Saints. The Pelicans picked yet another player. We're even going to talk some LSU baseball. We're pretty much covering it all here on this Free-for-All Friday. But before we get started, guys, I need a vibe check. How's the energy, okay? All day I've been fighting it. I think I finally got the energy level where we need it. How are we feeling? Are we hallucinating yet from sleep deprivation? Like, where we at?
Ready for the weekend is what I'll say. How about you, Paulie?
Most definitely. Weekend is very much needed right now.
Yeah.
What we doing? You got dad duty tonight, Paul? What we got?
Of course. Doing some dinner, but yeah. Probably dinner, watch a movie or something.
Movie night. Do y'all do like a weekly movie night, Paul? I've always thought that's a good idea.
I wouldn't say weekly, but yeah,
Okay.
whenever Opal's in the mood for a good movie.
Yeah.
He likes to pop popcorn.
Of course.
So yeah, probably doing that tonight.
So I go to the movies a lot. Like, that's something me and Victoria do. We don't do movie night at home as much. Like, we do, but like we go to the movies a ton. I'm actually sprinting out of the studio at the end of the show. We're doing a little dinner night tonight. But guys, I've made it. Jackpot's been hit. We got it right where we want it. Last night, getting ready for bed, Victoria looks at me and goes, I don't know why I'm telling you this, but I'm ready for football season.
Whoa.
Guys, it's here. I said, I'm going to remember you said that. And guys, we got a lot of football in today's show as well. I do want to start with something Chris Marler put out at LouisianaSports.net about SEC power rankings. Before we do that, though, let's get this show started as we do every single day.
It's time to pop the top on another edition of AFR with Bud Light. Drink easy.
Okay, so as I mentioned, Chris Marler, who writes for us at LouisianaSports.net, covers all things SEC, put out his SEC football power ranking preseason edition. So he did 16 all the way down to 1. There's some likes that I have. There are some dislikes. I'll run through the bottom 8 here pretty quickly. So he's got Kentucky dead last. Makes a lot of sense to me. As stable as Mark Stoops has been for that Kentucky Wildcats program, they are trending in the wrong direction. Mississippi State just right above them. You get Blake Shapen back. Not sure how good of a thing that is. Outside of that, though, looks like another down year for Mr. Jeff Lebby. He's got Arkansas, Vanderbilt, Oklahoma in the bottom 5. So at 10, you have the Auburn Tigers. Now, I think Auburn did a really good job getting weapons on their offense. So you had Cam Coleman last year, right? I mean, he was a really solid freshman wide receiver. He kind of burst onto the scene last year. And then you go into the transfer portal and get one of my favorite players out of the portal, Eric Singleton Jr. from Georgia Tech, the speedy wide receiver. So you got the big-bodied Cam Coleman on one side, the speedy Eric Singleton on the other. The biggest issue is the quarterback position. Now, you have a lot of bodies. Jackson Arnold, Deuce Knight, the true freshman. I mean, you bring Ashton Daniels from Stanford. You have guys there at that position, but can Jackson Arnold have a resurgence with that talent around it? Again, he has one of the best wide receiver cores, in my opinion, in not just the SEC, but in the entire country. So I think I like their talent. The problem is, as per usual, as Marler mentions here, they're really tough at the beginning of the season schedule-wise. Like, they could be behind the 8 ball pretty early on, like by the end of September. And then you have Georgia and Alabama, obviously, later in the season. They got a gauntlet this year. I don't know how it's going to look for the Auburn Tigers. At 9, we got Missouri. 8, Ole Miss. 7, Texas A&M. Where I really want to look right now, though, is number 6 with Tennessee. So Marler writes, I'm not sure why Tennessee has fallen off the map for everyone just because they lost Nico Iamaleava. They return a ton of talent still and have one of the easiest schedules in the SEC. 5 of their 12 opponents finished last year with a losing record, and they only have 4 opponents ranked in the preseason. That's pretty good. Those teams, Oklahoma, Florida, 2 of those Marler mentions here, Tennessee should be favored in. So he asked the question, like, why is Nico Iamaleava moving on such a big deal? It's not. And look, break down the numbers. We know it's 64% of his passes, but 19 touchdowns to 8 interceptions. And when you look at SEC play, like, most of those touchdowns came out of conference or teams with a losing record. I totally understand that. You're fine without Nico Iamaleava. I thought he was overrated. I thought Tennessee was the most overrated team in the SEC a year ago. Everybody thought they could win that conference. I understand they made a run to the college football playoff. Again, they had an easy schedule. Not because of Nico Iamaleava. But did you actually upgrade at the position? You get Joey Aguilar from UCLA when the Bruins and the Vols just decided to do a little partner swap action here in the offseason. So Joey Aguilar comes over from Appy State after playing 2 years at. Remember, he enrolled in the spring at UCLA, but as soon as Nico enrolled at UCLA after the spring, Aguilar hit the portal once again, so he's at Tennessee now. In 2 years at Appalachian State, 6,700 yards, 56 touchdowns, 24 interceptions. That's good, not great. Also, he went from 63% completion percentage in 2023 to just 55% last year in 2024. He really struggled. And 10 less touchdown passes last year as opposed to his first year starting. So he had a second-year slump. Can he build that back up? Don't forget, you have 5-star freshman George McIntyre, who everybody in the country wanted. The staff here in Baton Rouge was after him pretty hard at LSU for a little while. Jake Merklinger, the redshirt freshman quarterback, who, word is, Josh Heupel really likes what he has in that guy. So there's talent there at the quarterback position. You've seen it a little bit with Joey Aguilar. And then you got 2 young guys that the staff really likes in McIntyre and Merklinger. But my question is about the weapons around it. There are big question marks at receivers. If you ask me right now, hey, who's going to be their top guy? I think there's a big question about, like, Mike Matthews, maybe. You also lose Dylan Sampson, who was the SEC Offensive Player of the Year a year ago. That is a big loss. So while I agree that Tennessee didn't really face a huge blow at the quarterback position, if you will, with Nico Iamaleava moving on, I'm not sure how much you upgraded, at least as far as a known commodity. And you have a big loss, a big hole to fill, I should say, in the backfield without Dylan Sampson. But 6 actually seems about right for me with the Tennessee Volunteers because I think they're going to be about what they were a year ago, maybe a little bit worse. So that makes sense to me. At 5, he has South Carolina. Look, Lenore Sellers, he has a lot of hype around him in the in preseason going into the 2025 season. He finished the season really hot. I think LSU loses to South Carolina and Columbia earlier in the year if Sellers doesn't get hurt on the final play before halftime. He didn't play that entire second half. That's when LSU really got things rolling. But until then, Lenore Sellers was kind of doing what he wanted against the LSU defense. So I'm good with the list so far. He has LSU at number 4. He did mention that he considered putting LSU at 2 on this list or even number 1. He goes on to mention they probably have enough talent this year to be at least tied at number 3 with Alabama, which I don't agree with that. We'll get to in a minute. What I want to look at with LSU, look at the question marks of other teams, right? A lot of it centers around QB. As many question marks as there are with LSU, and there's a lot, your secondary. What's going to happen on the offensive line? You have talent at receiver, but you still replace a lot of guys as well. You think your tight ends are going to be good, but you replace the best tight end in school history. There's question marks for LSU. The one area where there is not is the quarterback position with Garrett Nussmeier. Garrett Nussmeier is the leading returning passer in college football, meaning, again, no quarterback coming back has thrown for more yards last season than did Garrett Nussmeier that is back again this year. You have stability at that position. I can't say that about some of these other teams. Let's get into some of those other teams. Number 3, we have the Alabama Crimson Tide. I think Kalen DeBoer is a good coach. I'm not going to sit up here and say this program is going to plummet once Nick Saban left. They're not going to be what they are. I mean, that's idiotic to think that they're going to be. Saban went on a historic run. That's why he's the greatest coach we've ever seen. But when I look at Alabama, you lose Jalen Miller. And a lot of people, myself included, had a lot of question marks about Jalen Miller. But who will be your quarterback? If the season started today, it's probably Ty Simpson. Same Ty Simpson that couldn't beat out Jalen Miller over 2 years. It was kind of that turnstile at quarterback 2 years ago under Saban. You bring in Keelan Russell, the 5-star, but he is a freshman. And then you have Austin Mack, who spent time with Ryan Grubb and Kalen DeBoer at Washington before coming over. You have a big question mark there. I think it's going to be Ty Simpson, but your passing game in a lot of moments last year was questionable, and I think it might be worse this year than it was a year ago. And you also don't have Jalen Milroe back there with his ability to take off and run. I mean, Keelan Russell can move a little bit. The other 2 guys, I mean, we'll see. Now, on the outside, they may have the best receiver in college football, arguably. I mean, Jeremiah Smith's out there for sure. Ryan Williams is a stud. Next to him, you have Jeremy Bernard and Isaiah Horton. They're decent, but we still haven't seen them be those every down players that we need to see for the Alabama Crimson Tide. You do bring in 5-star Derek Meadows, the 6'6" wide receiver who was a signing day flip from the LSU Tigers. You bring back Jam Miller as your number 1 running back, and he had a solid year a year ago. I mean, Jam Miller, 660 yards, 7 touchdowns, 4.6 yards per carry. He actually averages 5 yards per attempt in his 3-year career here at Alabama. He's a solid running back. But again, you lose a lot on the ground without Jalen Milroe. To me, that's too big to replace. There's too many question marks on offense. I think your defense is going to be good. And the addition of Ryan Grubb reuniting with Kalen DeBoer, that plays a factor for me as well. I think the offense will be good. I don't know how good, though. I just can't put him at 3. At number 2, he has Texas. I'm okay with it for the most part. But the point is, all of these teams have question marks. You look at Texas, their defense is going to be solid. I know they lost a lot on the offensive line. I think they're going to be good there as well. We don't know who Arch Manning is. Arch Manning certainly has a lot of potential to be good. I will personally say, hand up, I think Arch Manning is going to be a very good quarterback. But we haven't seen it. We think he can be good, but it's just a projection. The bigger issue is the weapons he has to throw to. You lose your top 3 receivers from a year ago. Matthew Golden, first-round pick. Isaiah Bond gone, and then your tight end Gunnar Helm, who had a solid year a year ago as well. All of them are gone. Now you bring back some talent, and you do bring in 2 really good wide receivers in Khalil Lockett and Jamie French, both of which LSU wanted very badly. Both 4- and 5-star guys coming out of high school. Your defense will be good, but again, is it enough to make up for the offense? I think this offense takes a step back. You get Wisner back. You get C.J. Baxter back. But you lose Jaden Blue. He was a big part of your offense. I just think breaking in a new quarterback with a bunch of new weapons on the outside is easier said than done. Now, if anybody can do it, it's Steve Sarkisian, but there's big question marks for the Texas Longhorns as well. At number 1, Chris Marler has Georgia. I get it. Guess what? Georgia's defense is going to be awesome. Yeah, we know they have Kirby Smart as their head coach. They're always going to have a really good defense. But similar to Texas, there's just too many question marks on the offensive side of the ball. I think Nate Frazier will be fine at running back. We mentioned McCray, who they're bringing in from Illinois yesterday, to carry the ball a little bit as well. You have Oscar Delp at tight end. But you didn't have a ton of good weapons at receiver a year ago, and I don't really think they did a ton in the offseason to kind of quiet those question marks this year. I mean, everyone's going to tell you that Zachariah Branch was a big-time addition out of the transfer portal, but he's not. I've never understood the hype around a Zachariah Branch. In 2 years as a receiver at USC, Zachariah Branch, 78 catches, 820 yards, 3 receiving touchdowns. And then you can say, okay, well, he's an explosive athlete. He'll make a big impact in the returning game. Will he? He has 1 punt return touchdown in his 2 years in college. 1. So you can sit there all day and say, yeah, well, he's dynamic. He's got 1 kickoff return, 1 punt return in 2 years. Great. The thing about Zachariah Branch is he played out in LA, and it was a nationally televised game. I remember this game. It was his first game in college. He had a big-time catch for a touchdown and returned about an 85-yard punt for a touchdown in his first college game, and everyone said, oh, Zachariah Branch is going to be the next big thing, and then despite the fact that it's been questionable on-field performances, people just kind of wrote that up as fact and didn't really back anything up with. Like, I'm okay with having Georgia number 1 only to give Kirby Smart the benefit of the doubt. The question mark at quarterback. Look, we've seen Gunnar Stockton a little bit, at least in bigger games, a lot more than we have an Arch Manning or whoever the hell is going to take snaps for Alabama. But it's different coming into the season being the guy than coming in for an injured starter. There's going to be an adjustment there as well. And again, the weapons on the outside, that's a question mark for me. So look, all these teams have question marks. The reason why I'm kind of leaning LSU is because you don't have a question at quarterback. Alabama, Texas, Georgia, all question marks at quarterback in one way or the other. And I think LSU has better weapons on the outside than all 3 of those teams, at least as far as proven pieces. Aaron Anderson's coming back. Chris Hilton's coming back. You get Barry Brown over, who's been in the SEC a number of years. Last time we saw Nick Anderson, he had 10 touchdowns as a freshman at Oklahoma. Bauer Sharp comes over from Oklahoma. Yeah, he was their leading receiver a year ago. Trey Green is another year older in this program. You got a lot of weapons. If you can figure out the offensive line, everything else is going to fall into place. But having a signal caller like Garrett Nussmeier, I'm giving LSU the benefit of the doubt over any of these 3 teams ranked over them. All right, look, we're going to take a quick timeout. When we get back, Zack Nagy is going to hop on with us. We're going to have a quick LSU recruiting segment that's coming up on the other side here on AFR.
After further review.
And when it is 94 degrees outside, I can't even imagine spending time outside during the Louisiana summers without a swimming pool. We got one at our house. I'll never own a home without a swimming pool again. If that's your dream, to have a beautiful custom pool built at your home, or if you had a pool that quite honestly just needs some upgrading, needs to be remodeled, you need Duplessis Builders. I'm going to give you the website. It's duplessisbuilders.net, duplessisbuilders.net. Y'all listen to this show for long enough, you know one thing about me, especially when it comes to contractors. I'm never going to recommend to you the guy that's the cheapest. I'm going to recommend the guy that's the best. And that's the case with Duplessis Builders. Derek Duplessis, they're not going to cut corners. They will not compromise building standards to save a few bucks. At Duplessis Builders, they will walk away from a job before they put their name on something that is not to their standard. It's Duplessis Builders. If you are even thinking about building a pool, you owe it to yourself to give Duplessis Builders a look. DuplessisBuilders.net.
Bayou Ford is taking $11,000 off MSRP with 4.9% for 60 months on the new 2025 Ford F-150 XLT, plus the complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar, but instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies. We've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability. Because your well-being is more than a priority, it's our purpose.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
Always a pleasure to tell you about our friends at the Williamson Eye Center. Check them out online at williamsoneye.com. They've got locations all over the greater Baton Rouge area. On the Baton Rouge General Campus, you turn off a Bluebonnet onto Picardy, you make that right. And then right there at the stop sign, the building on the right, the first two floors, that's the Williamson Eye Center. State-of-the-art dry eye center, and it's full service. Of course, they have their state-of-the-art surgery center there where you can have your LASIK or whatever surgical procedure you're having. But they have your standard annual eye exam as well at the Williamson Eye Center. Learn more at williamsoneye.com. The thing I tell you every day is take the advice that I was given and change your life. To give yourself the gift of sight is absolutely incredible. If you're someone like me who spent your life with contacts or glasses, there is a way to be done with it forever. williamsoneye.com. Go see Dr. Blake Williamson for that free consultation. 924-2020, 924-2020, or williamsoneye.com for the Williamson Eye Center.
All right, welcome back in. A Friday edition of AFR. Right now, let's go out to the phone line. Zack Nagy, publisher of LSU Tigers on SI, joins us right now to talk some Cruton. Zack, how are you today?
Doing good, my man. Obviously, busy season right now with some recruiting buzz, fresh off the June official visits. Ready to talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely. But look, we got to start where the talk of the week, right? The quarterback position or the outlook for 2026 for the LSU Tigers. So last Friday, as we all know, Bo Bentley chooses Oklahoma over LSU. LSU promptly offers Bryson Beaver, and then the very next day he commits to Oregon. So after that, what does that leave LSU 2026? Where do they go at this spot?
Yeah, I think that's $1 million question, Taylor. You're sitting here waiting to see what happens with Bo Bentley. Obviously, LSU rolled out the red carpet there this month and really put together a significant offer for him, and the ties to Oklahoma ultimately won out there. And it's a top 10 signal caller in the country, a guy who was highly coveted and ultimately made that decision. Fresh off of that, Joe Sloan and company go out and offer Bryson Beaver, a 4-star quarterback who's coming off of a decommitment from Boise State and quickly emerged as a guy that a ton of Power 4 programs were pursuing, whether it was Alabama, Ole Miss, Oregon, LSU, etc. A ton of teams really got in contact there with Beaver and then ultimately pulled the trigger for Oregon right there. So The million-dollar question is, where does LSU go now in this 2026 recruiting cycle at the quarterback position? Right now, you got some time leading into that early signing period in December, and we know the fall is kind of flip season. You're going to kind of pursue some guys that are committed to other programs. LSU's certainly going to keep contact with Bo Bentley, Bryson Beaver, etc. So you can go on flip watch with a couple of guys down the stretch, but one thing that you always have in your back pocket is the transfer portal. We've seen LSU be successful, whether it's Burrow, Jaden Daniels, etc. It's the new age of college football. So obviously, if you don't land a guy in that 2026 recruiting cycle, you got the transfer portal in your back pocket, and that could very well be the direction that they go in.
As far as guys that are continuing to look around, let's talk a little bit about Tristan Keys. He's kind of an interesting case study. He's the 5-star out of the state of Mississippi, and as of right now, he's still committed to the Tigers, but taking visits left and right. Kind of what have you made of his recruitment? Did the Tigers, they still looking strong on this, or what's the deal here?
Yeah, Taylor, Tristan Keys is going to be a fun one to keep tabs on down the stretch. I mean, he's taken unofficial, official visits left and right to Miami, Texas A&M, Tennessee, LSU. It's certainly been a busy offseason, but that's what happens when you're the number one wide receiver in the country. You're as highly touted as Tristan Keys is. It's going to be hard to hold on to a guy like that. And he's going to be receiving significant offers on the compensation front. And then, of course, the developmental side is where LSU has that advantage. He's talked about it time and time again. He understands what LSU has to offer there from guys like Brian Thomas, Malik Neighbors, etc. So he knows what the program can offer him on that front, led by Cortez Hankton and company at the receiver position. So it's going to be a fun one to watch. Obviously, we know that Texas A&M's a heavy hitter on the NIL side of things. Tennessee's emerging. So LSU knows what they're going to have to put together on the NIL side from a compensation perspective, but LSU holds that verbal pledge right now, and it's going to be exciting to see what happens down the stretch. We know what they're up against, but so does LSU.
Let's stick with the wide receivers here real quick. I was looking at some of the stuff you had put out a little bit earlier, and you mentioned Calvin Russell out of the Miami area, 6'6" wide receiver. Obviously, there's interest from the Tigers there. Where does Brian Kelly and company stand with him?
Yeah, Calvin Russell's a unit, man. This is a guy, like you said, 6'6", 190, a guy who can go up and get it, a true vertical threat at the receiver position. And he's out of the Sunshine State. So, you got your schools like Miami, Florida State in the mix there. And you got some other schools that are battling, like Oregon, Michigan, etc. So LSU's positioned themselves well for a guy like Calvin Russell. He took an official visit to Baton Rouge this summer. They knocked it out of the park. And then you started to see some predictions come in favor of LSU. But now, coming off that Michigan Wolverines visit this past weekend, there's some buzz generating for Sharon Moore and company up there. So it's going to be an exciting one. A commitment should be coming in the next couple of weeks. LSU's got their work cut out for them, but definitely in the mix there. Michigan's putting up a fight, but LSU's going to be one to keep tabs on as well. This is a guy who can come in and make a big-time difference. That wide receiver haul in Baton Rouge has a chance to be significant in the 2026 class. Obviously, Tristan Keys right now. You got Jabari Mack, Kenny Darby. You throw in a guy like Calvin Russell as well, another 5-star. It puts you in a really good position moving forward.
Let's flip to the other side of the ball here real quick as far as the DB room, a position where LSU always does well on the recruiting front. You got 2 Louisiana DBs out there, Desirian Ellis and Isaiah Washington. Tigers in on both of those guys. What's it look like with each of those guys?
Yeah, I think the track record speaks for itself when it comes to Corey Raymond and keeping defensive backs in the state and out of state as well. I mean, he's a recruiting guru, and he's shown that already, having a commitment from Haven Finney out on the West Coast in California. So it's going to be one where LSU has the advantage here. It seems like when it comes for both Ellis and Washington, those are 2 guys that have taken official visits to LSU already. Other schools are pursuing their services, of course. When you're a highly coveted guy in Louisiana, you're going to have those out-of-state programs battling as well. But LSU has the upper hand here. It seems like more of a when, not if, those guys jump into the 2026 recruiting class. The predictions are rolling in, and I myself do think that those guys land in the 2026 class for LSU as well.
Let's stay about as local can get. Zack Nagy, our guest right now. Lamar Brown, there was a lot of talk about him a little while ago because he had canceled the LSU visit, took an A&M one instead, but then circled back around, visited LSU. He's obviously in the Tigers' backyard right there at U-High on LSU's campus. What's the latest surrounding Lamar Brown?
Yeah, Taylor, this is going to be a fun one to watch. Obviously, he's right in the backyard for LSU, and one of the most coveted athletes in the country. I mean, dominates on both sides of the ball in the trenches, a true 5-star, number one athlete in the country. He's got LSU in the mix, Texas A&M in the mix, Miami, et cetera. I mean, a player that's definitely kind of got the who's who in the mix for his services. There was some Texas A&M buzz coming off of that official visit 2 weeks ago, and it seemed like he was going to shut things down, obviously, after canceling that visit to LSU. Ultimately, 24 hours after canceling it, pops back on social media and says that he is going to take that visit to LSU. He does, and he grades it a 10 out of 10 after the multi-day stay on campus. So LSU's pushing all the right buttons, obviously intensifying that push with a July 10th commitment date set in stone. Lamar Brown's one of those guys that you got to have. You already lost Blaine Bradford, who's a 5-star safety who committed to Ohio State. So you got to make sure to keep a Baton Rouge native in the boot, and that's what this program's going to try to do with Lamar Brown. They're going to do all they can to get him in this 2026 class, pushing all the right buttons. Certainly going to be a battle against Texas A&M, but they're positioning themselves well once again.
Zach, before I get you out of here, one more for you. 5-star wide receiver, Booby Feaster. You know, this is a name we had heard for quite some time now, and there was a lot of buzz surrounding him. Then things have kind of been quiet here on the LSU front around Booby Feaster. What's the latest with him and the Tigers?
Yeah, Booby Feaster's a coveted player, Taylor. A guy, obviously, who reclassed, was the number one wide receiver in the 2027 cycle, reclassed with the 2026, and remains a top 10 wideout in the country. So he's got LSU, Alabama, Texas A&M, et cetera, all in the mix. A&M's kind of got the buzz coming off of summer official visits. LSU's got a 3-man commitment class right now at the wide receiver position with Tristan Keys, Jabari Mack, Kenny Darby. And you got Calvin Russell, a guy that they're intensifying their push for. You can only take so many wide receivers in each wide receiver hall for each recruiting class. So Booby Feaster's a guy that if LSU wants, they're going to intensify their push for. But it definitely seems like Texas A&M's got the buzz right now with that commitment coming closer. A coveted player, a guy that a lot of people would want in that class. It seems like the Aggies have the buzz right now coming off a visit.
Zach, you obviously are cranking them out left and right. You know, I'm on the interwebs, if you will, yesterday looking for LSU stuff, and like every other article I see is written by Zack Nagy. So you're obviously cranking them out, but for those who don't know, where can folks see more of your stuff?
Yeah, my man, it's a busy season right now. The recruiting buzz, transfer portal buzz, you name it. We're pumping out that stuff on LSU SI. So for me, I'm always on Twitter at ZNagy20. The LSU page is at LSU Tigers SI. And if you're not on socials, just go into Google and punch in LSU Sports Illustrated. And you'll make sure to find anything you need purple and gold related.
All right, Zack Nagy, publisher of LSU Tigers on SI. Thanks for hopping on with us today.
Absolutely, my man. You have a good one.
You as well. All right, we're going to take a quick timeout. When we get back, we'll go around the SEC on the other side. This is AFR.
After further review.
We're brought to you by Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness, yourgoodwood.com, yourgoodwood.com. Gents, it doesn't matter what your age is. That age is a number. It's about how you feel. You remember what it was like when you were in your 20s or your 30s and you woke up in the morning, you had tons of energy to go to work, to play with your kids in the yard, to get to the gym, to feel vibrant. And as you age, you don't feel like that much anymore. It's harder to lose weight, harder to get motivation to go to the gym. You wake up feeling sore or tired. Maybe your love life isn't what it was. It doesn't have to be that way. A simple blood test can let you know if you're a candidate for hormone replacement therapy. And at Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness, there's never any contracts, and they have the lowest prices. You can get to start feeling better for as low as $125 a month with no contracts. It's Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness. Visit them online, yourgoodwood.com, yourgoodwood.com.
At Atmos Energy, our smart choice solutions help customers save energy and emissions with rebates up to $500 off high-efficiency natural gas appliances, smart thermostats, and weatherization upgrades. Together, we're fueling our energy future.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar, but instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier.
Dos Equis. There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Baton Rouge's home for real rock. It's Eagle 98.1. Foo Fighters. Led Zeppelin. AC/DC. Pearl Jam. And the flagship home for LSU sports. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. Eagle 98.1 is the rock station.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. This, it's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Savor game day platters and snacks, plus drink specials at 1717 Kitchen and Cocktail. So come out for game day and let our team make you the MVP. The Queen Casino, where every moment is a win.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
Brought to you by Evermore. Drink Evermore, EVAMOR, evermore.com, evermore.com. For elite athletes, for someone who just wants a healthier lifestyle. Maybe you're a parent, you want a healthier option for your children. Evermore is a great option. I would highly encourage you, bottom line, if you're drinking tap water, don't. Bare minimum, filter your tap water. But the best option is Evermore. This is natural artesian water. It's underground aquifers on the north shore of Lake Pontchartrain, right there in Covington. They dug a well into that aquifer, and I mean, it's literally thousands of years in the making. That's why they call it Mother Nature's masterpiece. That's what they're pulling out of the ground. The only filtration is take like the sediment from the ground out of the water, and it goes right into the bottle. So it never touches air until you uncap it, take that first delicious sip. Learn more where you can buy it, great retailers or online, EVAMOR, evermore.com.
Paul, we got a problem.
What's that?
I like Evermore as much as the next guy. Got to get Dak Prescott off the website. You know, I'm looking up. I'm feeling good. I'm excited. It's a Friday. We're about to do Around the SEC. I look up. Dak Prescott's staring me in the face. I get enough of him between September and December. Now, not after that because we're not going to make the playoffs, but I get enough of Dak Prescott September to December. I don't need him staring me in the face. Like, we got to do something about that. I need you to make a call. You're Paul O'Neill. You can get this done.
I'll see what I can do.
All right. Well, look, moving on to happier times. Right now, we do it around this time every single day. Let's go around the SEC.
Around the SEC, bringing you the biggest news from the nation's best conference. The Alabama Crimson Tide.
After going undrafted in the 2025 NBA draft, Alabama guard Mark Sears signed a two-way deal late last night with the Milwaukee Bucks. Sears finished 3 seasons at Alabama. He was a Wooden Award top 5 All-American. He ended his time in Tuscaloosa with 2,800 career points, ranks 19th in Division I history. Among Alabama players, Sears ranks second all-time on the scoring list with 1,950 career points, trailing only Reggie King.
The Mississippi State Bulldogs.
Mississippi State new baseball coach Brian O'Connor continues to build his first ever transfer portal class in Starkville that's ranked as the current best in the nation. Maybe Jay Johnson will have something to say about that. On Thursday, former South Carolina right-handed pitcher Brendan Sweeney has reportedly signed with Mississippi State. He is the second former South Carolina right-handed pitcher to come to Mississippi State, joining Tyler Pitzer. In his lone season with the Gamecocks, Sweeney made 23 appearances, mostly out of the bullpen, but he did get one start. In 25 and a third innings pitched, Sweeney recorded an 8.53 ERA, a team-high 6 saves, 34 strikeouts to just 13 walks, and 24 earned runs allowed. His lone start last season was a March game against North Carolina that saw him pitch just one inning, but he did not allow a run. Sweeney becomes the 13th transfer for Brian O'Connor.
The Auburn Tigers.
Auburn football and Hugh Freeze landed a commitment from 4-star quarterback Peyton Falzone yesterday afternoon, flipping him from Penn State. Falzone is the nation's number 208 overall prospect in the 2026 recruiting cycle and the number 8 athlete in the class. He is also the number 5 recruit out of the state of Pennsylvania. As a junior this past season, he threw for 2,135 yards to go along with 23 touchdowns to just 4 interceptions. He also added 697 yards on the ground and 8 more rushing scores. Falzone is the commitment number 7 for Hugh Freeze in the 2026 recruiting class, which ranks 77th overall in the 24/7 sports rankings.
Texas A&M!
The Aggies have struck big with one of the top Dallas-Fort Worth talents in 2026. It's Prosper, Texas standout offensive lineman Zayden Crimpin as he announced his college decision. The Aggies, led by offensive line coach Adam Cushing and Mike Elko, get the commitment that they had been looking for. He chose Texas A&M out of a group of finalists that included Michigan, Texas, and LSU, but he also received offers all over the country over the past few years. Crimpin becomes the Aggies' 21st commitment of the 2026 recruiting class, and he gives the Aggies 2 commits from the Dallas-Fort Worth area.
The Florida Gators.
The Gators have landed a key piece inside the trenches. Interior offensive lineman Desmond Green from South Carolina, according to On3 Sports. This decision comes not long after Green's official visit in Gainesville, which he rated a 10 out of 10, but it was a far from the first time that he was on campus. He had already made several trips to Florida dating back to last season. Georgia, South Carolina, and Oklahoma were also in the mix. Now, according to the On3 industry ranking, Green is the number 37 interior offensive lineman and number 454 overall prospect in the class of 2026. That is around the SEC. All right, look, we're going to take a quick timeout. When we come back to close out hour number 1. If you listen to our morning show here on 104.5 ESPN, Off the Bench, all week long, we have been discussing season openers. You know, whether we're previewing LSU Clemson, looking at the tough games around the country, the not so tough games around the country. And the conversation has been, is it worth it to play a tough game in your season opener? Or do you want to play a tough game in your season opener? It's something all 4 of us on the morning show have chopped up all week long. I want to get Beck and Paul's thoughts. That's coming up on the other side here on AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Action Industries, proud partner of LSU Athletics. ActionIndinc.com. That's where you find them online. You can find them on LinkedIn as well. And one of the things that I tell you often about Action Industries that I really respect the most is Action Industries, they know who they are as a business. They've been around since 1982. So in 42 years, they've really developed a reputation among the petrochemical and refinery markets. And so when it comes to those contractors, these industrial and commercial contractors, like their safety record is exemplary. The work that they do is exceptional, which is why they thrive on repeat business. Well, you don't keep getting hired for 42 years if you're not doing great work. That's Action Industries. But also they know who they are. You know, there's some giant companies that do these mega projects, and they're not going to bid on a $200 million project. But if you have a 100-man job, that's their sweet spot. They're perfect for that. You need to get to know Action Industries. ActionIndinc.com.
Value Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $22,500 off MSRP on the brand new 2025 Ram 1500 Laramie with $22,500 off MSRP with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Value Automotive vehicles. If you need sales or service, the crew at Value Automotive is going to do right by you.
It's not just a game, it's a religion. You've got your team colors, team swag, and now your very own website. LouisianaSports.net. Everything LSU, Saints, and Pelicans. Sports on demand. In-depth coverage by sports writing pros with continuously updated news. And with the LouisianaSports.net newsletter, you get pinged directly with top trending stories. Best of all, now and always, no paywall. It's free. LouisianaSports.net. Powered by 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Your home for Louisiana sports.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar, but instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Looking for the ultimate game day experience? Come to the Queen Casino in Baton Rouge. Wall-to-wall TVs mean you'll see every touchdown in HD. Place your bets and feel the thrill of every play with our DraftKings Sportsbook. The Queen Casino, where every moment is a win.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
Brought to you by Parish Construction and Roofing. The Louisiana legislature is in session, and there's actually a bill right now that would eliminate door knockers in Louisiana, make it illegal for roofing companies to go door-to-door knocking to solicit business. As members of the Louisiana Roofing Contractors Association and Parish Construction and Roofing, we wholeheartedly endorse that legislation because we will never door knock. That's also such a way that some of the less reputable companies get around and take advantage of people. And we hear about it every year during storm. And you have out-of-town companies come in. If you need a roof repair, replacement, you got an issue, ignore the door knockers. Call a reputable company that's been in the community, that's community-related, community-based. We'd love it if you give us the opportunity to earn your business. We're never coming to knock on your door. When you're ready and you want to give us a shout, we'd be more than happy to help in every way that we can. Go to the homepage of our website. You see a testimonial from Coach Kim Mulkey right there. We've done work for Coach. Do business with someone you know. Coach Mulkey did. We'd love to help you as well. Parish Construction and Roofing. Go to parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com.
Welcome back in. Friday edition of After Further Review. Taylor Sharp sitting in for Matthew Moscona. And Paul, we got another problem. There are not enough Parish hats on this desk. We don't have enough. I mean, what are we doing? We don't have enough hats. That's a big concern. For those wondering, we have like 5 hats on this desk right now.
There's 4.
Okay, fine. There's 4 hats. I can't really tell because the laptop's blocking it. But okay, yep, 4 hats. Quite a few. But look, a Friday edition of AFR brought to you by Don Juan Cigar Bar. Teased it a little bit there before we went to break. There's been a lot of discussion on our morning show here at Guarantee about season openers in college football. Should you play a tough one? Would you rather play that tough one week 2? Would you rather not play any tough out-of-conference teams? there's been a big debate on it. And like, I'm hoping that when I ask Jacob and Paul this question, they have a staunch opinion and they're really passionate about it, because I'm kind of just in the middle on this thing. I think there's pros and cons to it. As a fan, you want it. But also, if you go look at LSU football, which is obviously what we're going to base this off of, they've done better when you haven't done that. This team is awful in season openers. You have lost your last 5 season openers. And let's not forget, Brian Kelly and staff, he's 0 for 3. 0 for 3 in season openers. And you can say, okay, well, he has the best team he's ever had this year as far as maybe roster as a whole. Yeah, I'd agree with that. But you could also argue on the flip side of things that this Clemson team might be the best team he's played in a season opener. So he might have the most talent. He might be playing the most talented team. Now, everyone's going to say, well, what about 2023 Florida State? 2023 Florida State was great. It wasn't a true road game. You played that in Camping World Stadium in Tampa. You're going to Clemson's house, to Little Death Valley out there in South Carolina, and you were playing this football game. This is a true road game against a preseason top 10 team and a guy in Cade Klubnik who's in his 3rd year in Dabo Swinney's offense. This is a tough opponent. Last time, you could also argue, okay, well, last time you won the national championship was 2019. Who'd you play in the opener? It was Georgia Southern. You worked out all your kinks, knocked the rust off, beat the crap out of them in Tiger Stadium, went on the road, played a tough game against Texas in Austin. Now, I think 2019 was an incredible team and it wouldn't have mattered, but you could say, okay, well, what happens if you play Texas week 1 where you didn't really get to work on things the week before? Who's to say you win that game? Because that was a close game week 2. Now, I still think you do. I think there are pros and cons to this. You know, whether you're for playing it, against it. As a fan, you like the big time game, but also you want your team to win. So, like, Beck, Paul, I'll ask both of you, like, tough game, season opener. Do you like it week 1? Would you rather it week 2? Or do you not want to play it at all?
I would rather not do it for the first game.
I'm kind of with you. Like, I'm good with playing it, right? Like, a lot of people are going to say, oh, well, you're ducking the big time opponent. You're playing a cupcake. I'm good with week 2.
Yeah. I have no problem with scheduling a top 25 team in our conference. I know, like on Hunt show, he always says, like, you don't need to schedule anybody, because as long as you win all your games and you win your conference game, you win enough conference games, you're going to get into the playoff. And to an extent, I think that's true, but still, you want to test. You want your team to be tested at least once before you get to conference play, because I just think that's important. And right now, LSU, and it's also easier for most people that are LSU fans, at least, to say absolutely don't schedule that really tough opponent for week 1 because they've lost so many in a row. Before that, LSU was playing almost every year. LSU was playing every other year, at least. LSU was playing someone really good in the first week, and they won a lot of those games. So people liked it because it's exciting, and the fans do want to see it. But now, the LSU's lost so many times in the season opener that now I think a lot of fans have switched and said, let's just play somebody, let's play a very easy opponent in the first week so you can just win the season opener for once. So, but I would say let's hold off on scheduling the really tough out of conference until at least the 2nd or 3rd week.
Paul, you got like a strong opinion one way or the other?
As a fan, you absolutely want to see it.
You absolutely do, right? You want to dive in head first, balls to the wall week 1.
But as a player, until everybody's doing it, you probably want to avoid the big opponents in week 1. I mean, everybody, like other sports, play cupcake games to get ready for the season. But I mean, yeah, until everybody's doing it and everybody's on the same page, I think you kind of want to avoid it. But like, safe to say, like, if LSU's 5-0 the last couple seasons in season openers,
nobody would care.
This is probably not even a discussion.
Right. Nobody would care. Like, for me, if I, like, no offense to the guys down the street, if I had confidence in this coaching staff that they could get it done week 1, I wouldn't care. But you're 0-3. You've lost 5 in a row season openers. You ain't going to get me 6 times. You know what they say? You fool me 5 times, you ain't going to fool me 6 times. So, like, I'm good with playing it. Like, I don't want to duck it. But, like, honestly, going back to Hunt's point, Hunt saying, like, not schedule it at all, that's kind of extreme. I want to play the tough games. I don't want to look like you're ducking anyone. But to Hunt's point, he's not entirely off about you don't have to play those games. So like in the BCS era, when all these strength of schedule and everything was taken into consideration, like you needed that tough schedule. Now, with a playoff that's about to go to 16 teams, you got the human error, you have a committee voting on it. You finish in the top 3 in the SEC and go 10-2, you're in the college football playoff. It doesn't really matter if you have the 10th strength of schedule or the 50th strength of schedule. It doesn't really matter. Me personally, I still want to play the game, but I don't necessarily care where on the schedule it's located. Like, to me, it doesn't have to be week 1. I'm excited for LSU football, and I have been geared up for this for 7 months leading up to the season. For really since football season ended, I'm already ready for it to roll right back around again. I'm fired up regardless. Like, as a fan, yeah, you want to see it. I don't know if it has to be week 1. I don't know. It's a discussion that certainly a lot of people have a lot of opinions on. Just be Clemson. Just please be Clemson week 1. That's all I'm asking. You can't go another season building up the hype to an opening game against a premier opponent. You lose, and then the fan base is deflated before the season even really gets started. You're behind the 8 ball as well. You have very little margin of error in the SEC if you lose the opener. Okay, coming up in hour number 2, we're going to do a quick Pelicans segment. They actually had a pick in the second round of the NBA draft, 40th overall. We'll break that down. And we got Ross Jackson coming up here on AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by Relief Windows and ReliefWindows.com. You know, when we talk about Relief Windows every day, I always say windows, doors, siding. And now shutters as well. They do your indoor shutters. Same thing as the windows. Custom made, measured to fit your windows, custom fit for your windows, lifetime warranty on your windows, your shutters. But Brandon, you often hear say their number 1 product is customer satisfaction. And that's not just a catchy line. That's not a cliche phrase. Have an experience with Relief Windows and you'll understand. They go to the ends of the earth to make sure their customers are thrilled with the work they do. As a matter of fact, Relief Windows never takes $1 from you. You will not, no deposit, no down payment. They take all the risk. They will not take $1 until you're thrilled with the work they do. Who else does that? Only Relief Windows. Check them out online at ReliefWindows.com.
Flight by Yingling is raising the bar by crafting the next generation of light beer. With only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Flight by Yingling. Raise the bar.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. This, it's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
When you can't rely on technology, you can rely on Mountain Cold.
This is SportsCenter.
A major shakeup in Toronto. I'm Chris Smith. Masai Ujiri is out after 13 seasons with the Raptors, and ESPN NBA insider Brian Windhorst says there were multiple reasons for the firing, including missing the postseason for the third straight year.
They've a little bit underachieved the last couple of years. The key, I think, here is the Raptors are about to have an ownership change. Like, they've already had the ownership change, and Ed Rogers, the head of Rogers Communications, is going to be taking over the team within the next year. And he fired the head of the Toronto Argonauts. He fired Brendan Shanahan, who ran the Toronto Maple Leafs, and now there's a parting of ways with the president of the Toronto Raptors.
Ujiri won the NBA's Executive of the Year award in 2013 before landing Toronto their only NBA title in 2019. Meanwhile, Ace Bailey, the 5th overall pick in the NBA draft, plans to report to the Utah Jazz on Saturday, a team representative told ESPN. Adding that, we'll have a press conference on Sunday and a practice on Monday. And a source told ESPN that Sixers center Andre Drummond has picked up his $5 million player option for the 2025-26 season. Baseball, the Mets announced starting pitcher Griffin Canning suffered a ruptured Achilles on Thursday night.
Hey, it's your resident Super Bowl champ Chris Canning coming on Monday. Whether it's NBA free agency rumors or Major League Baseball, I'll react to it all in my Upon Further Review at 7 a.m. Eastern. It's unsportsmanlike weekday mornings at 6, right here on ESPN Radio, ESPN2, and ESPNU.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's ride!
Welcome aboard, 4 o'clock hour. Taylor Sharp here with you on a Friday edition of After Further Review. Filling in for Matt Moscona. We got 2 hours left in the work week. I'm Taylor Sharp. We got Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
And Jacob Beck. All right, we got 2 hours left for you here, as I was just saying here on this Friday. And, you know, I'm listening to SportsCenter there at the top of the hour. Ace Bailey is going to report to the Utah Jazz. For those who don't know, he did not want to go there at all, refused to work out for the team in the pre-draft process. They wound up taking him anyways, 5th overall. Apparently, his preferred destination was the Washington Wizards. I have to question the ability of anyone to process something. If their preferred destination is the Washington Wizards, that is the worst organization in the NBA, maybe the worst organization in professional sports. I don't know why the hell anyone would want to go to the Washington Wizards, but he is reporting to the Utah Jazz after all. Speaking of the NBA draft last night, the second round, and normally we would not talk about the second round at all, but the New Orleans Pelicans did have a pick, 40th overall. Look, yesterday we came in here, we broke it down heavily. A little bit of a recap for the first round. 7th overall, they take Jeremiah Fears, the point guard out of Oklahoma. Really excited about that. He's a drive point guard. He can get to the basket. He can get to the free throw line, and he can knock them down from the foul line once he get there. Then you trade from 23 up to 13 to get the big man out of Maryland, Derek Queen, the 6'10 power forward. We think he's going to play more 4 than 5, but 2 guys that are really good offensively. None of them are shooters. And me, Beck, Paul, when we were kind of breaking down, okay, what do you need to do with that pick in the second round? Pretty much across the board, it was some combination of shooting and defense. Well, they got the shooting part down because with the 40th overall pick, they took 6'7" forward out of Georgetown, Micah Peavy. When you look at Micah Peavy, 4-year player, so he began his career at Texas Tech. Then he transfers after that goes on to play at TCU for 3 seasons before ultimately transferring to Georgetown last year, where he absolutely blew up. So for Peavy, his points per game his 4 years in college improved every single year, from about 5.5 to 6 to 7 to 10.9 at TCU back in 2024 to 17.2 points per game for the Hoyas this past season. 6'7" forward, but here's the biggest deal. He shot 40% from 3 last season. That's excellent. You get a guy that can score that volume, 40% from 3. Oh, and let's mention he gets about 6 rebounds per game, 3.5 assists. We also talked about defense. 2.3 steals per game last year at Georgetown did Micah Peavy have. So you got a guy that's a knockdown shooter from the outside. You got a guy that plays good on-ball defense, as it states there by his steal numbers. And you got a 6'7" player on the wing. We talked about wing players. We talked about shooting from the outside. We talked about defense. The Pelicans do it all with this pick right here. Beck, you and I talked a lot about this yesterday of what we thought of the first-round picks. We both kind of love the Jeremiah Fears selection. We like the player in Derek Queen. We don't like what the Pelicans had to give up. As far as Micah Peavy goes, he was a guy, because a little bit yesterday I broke down maybe the top available players in round 2 that could have been there. And for what it's worth, Tyrese Proctor was there when the Pelicans made this pick, the 6'5" shooting guard out of Duke, who I mentioned a little bit yesterday, a really good shooter in his own right. They go with Micah Peavy. He's a little bit bigger. He can play on the wing. He has good defense. But as far as this pick goes, you were telling me a little bit earlier, he's been on the radar for quite some time.
Yeah, so Troy Weaver, who's now the new general manager, he's underneath Joe Dumars, who's now the president, I think, of the Pelicans. But he was with the Wizards in Washington, D.C., so he probably saw a lot of Micah Peavy during that time. So obviously, a lot of times when guys are scouting players, especially if they're familiar with them and they've seen them a lot, they're just probably more likely to lean towards those guys because they just have more eyes on evidence of how good of a player they are. So not too surprising that there's a connection there, I would say. So he's a really, really solid player. I mean, for the 40th pick in the draft, I think this is pretty good choice for the Pelicans. I mean, you never expect a lot from second rounders, but you just never know. We've seen plenty of guys in the second round that have gone on to, obviously there's plenty of guys that have gone on to be really good players. There's some that end up, carving out a niche as a role player. So maybe Micah Peavy can be that guy that steps in on the second unit and can knock down some threes and really guard well. So maybe this is the guy. Yesterday I said maybe they're going to go out and get a guy, maybe try to challenge Jordan Hawkins' spot in that second unit. I think Micah Peavy can do that. He's got better size. I think
he's a better defender.
He's a better defender, and overall, I think he's just a better spot instead of having to put Jordan Hawkins on the floor. He's a little bit smaller, so he's going to have to probably guard the one on the other team. So he's got a little bit more versatility in your second unit there. So I think it's a good pick. Let's see what he does in the summer league and whether or not he can keep growing. As you said, he's gotten a lot better over his 5 years. Of course, he is 24, so he's a little bit older. So you don't know how much more he really can improve if his ceiling is that much higher. But I think it's a solid pick at 40.
I like the pick, but to your point, you don't normally think you're going to get a game-changing player at 40 overall. But honestly, the more I look at which players went where, this is actually a pretty deep draft. We were talking about it yesterday. Rasheer Fleming coming into this draft was considered one of the best athletes in the draft. He doesn't even go in the first round. Now, he was the first pick last night in the second round, but Peavy goes in the second round. Tyrese Proctor goes in the second round. Kalkbrenner goes in the second round. Rasheer Fleming goes in the second round. All of these guys could have potentially went in the first round in any other draft. Looking back on this, I think this will be a little bit deeper of an NBA draft than most people think right now. But let's kind of break down the roster out there in New Orleans right now. So what you lost, obviously Brandon Ingram, you traded him. He plays for the Raptors now. You just got rid of C.J. McCollum. You got rid of Kelly Olynyk. So you move off of those three guys. What you gained, Jordan Poole and Saddiq Bey come over in that trade where you got rid of McCollum and Kelly Olynyk. Now, Jordan Poole and Saddiq Bey are solid players, And, my knee-jerk reaction was, great, you traded C.J. McCollum for C.J. McCollum. But you got a lot younger, too. C.J. McCollum, 34. Jordan Poole and Sadiq Bey, 26 years old apiece. You draft Jeremiah Fears, the second youngest player in this draft. He's going to be your starting point guard day one, in my opinion, especially with DeJounte Murray out with that injury. You get Derek Queen, a guy that can come in, be a physical presence. If he can improve that conditioning, which that's a big red flag for me for Zion Williamson, he could kind of fill the role of a Zion, because Zion only plays about 40% of the damn games anyway, so can you count on him? And then you get a really good 3-and-D, 6'7" wing player last night in Micah Peavy, something you needed. So that's what you gained since the end of the season. You lose Ingram, McCollum, Kelly Olynyk. Your returners, Zion, obviously, Trey Murphy, Herb Jones, Yves Missi, Jordan Hawkins, Jose Alvarado. There's a few more, but those are the 5 or 6 guys that are going to play significant minutes for you that were on your team a year ago. Hoping that you don't make any more trades. You could always trade some of these guys, but Yves Missi is going to start at your 5. I think right now that is pretty much set in stone. I don't think the selection of Derek Queen changes that. My hope is that Trey Murphy is somewhere in your starting lineup. If not, he's that 6th man role. I think it'll be either him or Jordan Poole starting at that 2 guard. Herb's going to be in your starting lineup. Zion's going to be in your starting lineup. And then that leaves you with Jeremiah Fears. So I think 4 of your 5 are locked down. Fears, Zion, if he can play, Herb Jones, Yves Missi. And then your 5th will either be Jordan Poole, Trey Murphy. Those 2 are kind of interchangeable to me. Doesn't really matter. We've seen Murphy play well in the starting lineup. We've seen him do really well off the bench. Kind of the same thing with Jordan Poole. They're different players, but as far as their impact coming off the bench or in the starting lineup, they're kind of interchangeable. Sadiq Bey is going to play solid minutes for you. I think Peavy's going to play solid minutes for you. And Jordan Hawkins will be an extra shooter off the bench. Jose Alvarado is still going to be that defensive presence. He's essentially going to be the point guard 2. He's going to run that second unit offense. Look, you don't have a ton of all-stars on this team. I don't think you have any all-stars on this team outside of Zion, if he plays enough to get selected as an all-star. But Trey Murphy's a really good player who continues to get better. Herb Jones is a good 2-way player. Yves Missi had a really good season a year ago. Can Hawkins become the player you drafted? Alvarado, he's always going to be limited on the offensive side, but if he can give you anything on defense, that's a bonus. And then Poole, Sadiq Bey, Fears, Queen, you have a young collection of talent. How will they play together? But I like the makeup. I like the talent of this team. We'll see if it can be put together. We'll see what Willie Green's got. This is his last opportunity in New Orleans. As far as what I would grade this draft, I like the selections. I'm going to go B- to C+, though, only because you gave up a ton to get up and get Derek Fears. Again, I like the player, or Derek Queen. I like the player. I do not like at all what you gave up to go get said player. Also, before we take a break, speaking of the NBA and basketball, former LSU guard Cam Carter did not hear his name called in the NBA draft, but last night he signed a summer league deal with the San Antonio Spurs. I think this is a good opportunity for Cam Carter. I think he's a talented player. He's 6'3". He's that combo guard. Shot the lights out for LSU last year. Averaged 16 points a game, but shot 42.5%, almost 40% from 3. Played in all 32 games. Was 4th in the SEC in total minutes. 33.2 per game. He was a very good player for you. He took over games at times. And I understand LSU basketball was not good at all last year. If you can imagine, they would have been even a lot worse without Cam Carter on the floor. So shout out Cam Carter, a Tiger joining the San Antonio Spurs. All right, we're going to take a quick timeout. When we get back, we're going to stay in New Orleans, but switch sports. We're talking New Orleans Saints with Ross Jackson next here on AFR.
AFR.
AFR is brought to you by the Watermark Hotel and the Renaissance Hotel, 2 beautiful hotel properties in Baton Rouge, the Watermark downtown, the Renaissance Southtown right there on Bluebonnet. And when it comes to hosting your event, both the Watermark and the Renaissance are perfect. The Watermark is a gorgeous, elegant spot in downtown Baton Rouge. That wedding reception, that smaller gathering, that meeting space, they can do it. They've kept so much of the history and tradition of that iconic building while modernizing it. The Gregory is a great restaurant inside of the Watermark as well. And then, of course, the Renaissance Hotel. Southtown, right there on Bluebonnet in Baton Rouge. It's more modern. It's a gorgeous, gorgeous hotel property at the Renaissance Hotel where they have meeting space that can accommodate up to 500 people, 7,000 square foot of meeting space, perfectly located right off of Bluebonnet and I-10. It's the Watermark and the Renaissance Hotels.
Family owned and community driven.
Service Chevrolet Cadillac, a legacy you can trust since 1972. Service Chevrolet Cadillac, our family serving your family.
For over 50 years.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
Brought to you by Shawbills Tire and Auto Service, ShawbillsTire.com. 18 locations in South Louisiana. Find the location nearest you at ShawbillsTire.com. Bumper-to-bumper auto service and name brand tires at wholesale prices. They will always find a way to get you the best possible price for the best possible tires on the road. That's what they do at Shawbills. And when they get you in by selling you the best tires, the cheapest price possible, they're going to treat you like family, and they're going to treat you so good you're going to keep coming back year after year after year every time you need anything for your vehicle. Tires rotated, oil changed, check engine light on, brakes squeaking, whatever's wrong with your vehicle, bring it to Shawbills. Let them give it the once-over. And you can always schedule online, so it's convenient. ShawbillsTire.com. Find the location nearest you at ShawbillsTire.com. Shop tires online at ShawbillsTire.com. Be sure to ask about the Shawbills credit card as well, because you can save $50 off your first purchase when you use the Shawbills credit card only at Shawbills.
All All right, welcome back in a Friday edition of After Further Review. Taylor Sharp here with you, sitting in the big boy chair for our guy, Matt Moscona. He is out all next week as well. I will be in for you Monday, and then Matt Musso taking you the rest of the way next week. I teased the going into break there. We're going to go to New Orleans, covering the New Orleans Saints. Ross Jackson with Locked On Saints and writes for us right here at LouisianaSports.net. Ross, how are you this afternoon?
Hey, doing great, guys. Thanks so much for having me on. Glad to be here with you.
Absolutely. Ross, want to start at the position that everyone's looking at. So obviously the punter spot. No, I'm totally kidding.
I mean, hey, look, I can wax philosophical with some punters, man. Whatever you need.
Tyler Shuck and Spencer Rattler, obviously the battle that everyone's watching. The good news is, Ross, I've read your articles, and it seems like a close battle, and for good reason, not bad, right? Like, none of them are going 0 for 12. They both actually look pretty efficient. Like, I know that we have a long way to go. We have an entire offseason. We have the preseason coming up. But right now, like, just prediction time. Season started today. Who takes the first snap?
Yeah, look, I think there's two answers here. Sorry to do this to you.
Oh, you're
but
good.
I do think that there's kind of the, like, who do I perceive to be ahead when it comes to OTAs and training camp and all those other things. You got to remember, not a single 11-on-11, rep seen by media. They didn't run those, all those kinds of things. And so we got to keep that in mind. No pass rush, no throwing lanes, all these other things. But really when it comes down to who's going to be the starter week one, I think it comes down to who Kellen Moore decides is his guy. And look, when you draft a guy for the first time ever in the franchise's history in the second round, the highest drafted quarterback since Archie Manning in terms of the NFL draft proper as opposed to supplemental draft, I think there's no reason to not roll with the guy that you have decided is your guy unless he ends up being that far behind the curve. And it doesn't feel like Tyler Shuck is that far behind the curve. I think if I was picking a quarterback right now, I'd pick Spencer Rattler because I'll take the guy with the NFL experience. And to be honest, he's looked a little bit more clean in terms of processing, getting through reads through his progression, making good decisions, making quick decisions, all of those things. But, I mean, I don't see a reason why Kellen Moore wouldn't want to go with the guy that he designated effectively as his guy by selecting him in the second round, top 40 overall, with Tyler Shuck. And I don't know that the division, by the time that training camp is over, is going to be so steep that would be a bad decision. You know what I mean? The Saints are in a really good place here with two solid young quarterbacks. And so if I'm predicting, though, like where the Saints will go and who they will choose, I still feel like Tyler Shuck is very much in line.
As far as bringing in guys to be in your offense, Ross, the Saints have brought in a lot of running backs. Like, you went from having none to having, like, a crowded room right now. Obviously, AK's RB1. We know that. But, like, as far as behind him, like, what's the pecking order kind of looking like? Because you got a lot of bodies.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think this is one of the places where you also see a very wide open competition. You've got Spencer Rattler and Tyler Shuck very realistically vying for a starting job. And I think that guys like Kendre Miller, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Cam Akers, rookie Devin Neal, Marcus Yarns, like Bayless Jones Jr. there. I just went ahead and named everybody. But, all those guys that are behind Alvin Kamara, they all have a real opportunity to be the guy behind Alvin Kamara. And that player that's going to be that sort of RB2, if you will, is going to have to be called upon quite a bit because we don't know when Taysom Hill's going to be ready for this team. And so with that taken into consideration, we got to remember Taysom Hill has been the second leading rusher on this team since Latavius Murray in 2020. Yeah, in 2020. And so they've got to find who that next guy is that's going to be able to produce alongside Alvin Kamara in that running back room. I think Kendre Miller has the talent to do it. He has the versatility to be able to do it as well. But I understand very much the appeal of a Devin Neal as a game breaker, a Clyde Edwards-Helaire as a versatile chess piece. Same thing for Bayless Jones. I see the appeal of a Cam Akers that could be a between the tackles runner and do a little bit of everything. And so I kind of put sort of maybe the bigger bodied guys like Kendre Miller and Cam Akers that could be more inside the tackles thumpers. I feel like those guys maybe have a little bit of an edge. So those are the ones that I'll be watching most closely. But I think, honestly, when it comes to Kellen Moore, it's not an archetype of saying, here's the role, try to squeeze the player into that role. It's going to be all about who's the best option and how do you make a game plan work for that best option.
Ross Jackson, our guest right now with Locked On Saints and LouisianaSports.net. Ross, before we move to defense, let's stick with the offense here a little bit longer. I want to look at the tight end room. You know, it's a room that a lot of people aren't talking about. You were wondering how heavily the Saints are going to invest in it in the offseason, but they give Juwan Johnson a contract. You still have Foster Moreau in that room. Like, where does the rotation look like right now?
Yeah, I think Foster Moreau as well as Juwan Johnson are going to be the top options in the room. We'll see. Like, I mean, I thought it was great. We've seen Foster Moreau out there. He was out during OTAs and mini camps. He wasn't participating, but he was there with the team and working with the position group in other capacities. He was just at tight end U as well out in Nashville, working with Travis Kelce and Greg Olson and Dallas Goedert and all these other guys that are out there. George Kittle as well. And so I think he seems to be trending towards potentially being available for training camp, which would be great for New Orleans. But we'll see, right? He had that kind of major knee injury late in the season, or a lower body injury late in the season last game. So we'll see. But I think him and Juwan Johnson are the top two guys in that room. And then I think Jack Stahl grabs a really important role too. He was in Kellen Moore and TJ Paganetti's run-heavy offense last year with the Philadelphia Eagles. He's a fantastic blocker, 4.6 speed. He can do some damage after the catch as well. I think he's got some underrated kind of value in the pass catching area. And so I see those three guys as kind of at the top of the position. And then you're wondering, who will be kind of either that top practice squad option, or if they keep a fourth guy on the roster because they don't have any fullbacks on the roster, where guys like Dallin Holker or Trayton Welsh or Michael Jacobson or Maliki Mataval end up kind of plugging in while they wait to see when they get Taysom Hill back out on the field.
Like, obviously, you have a lot of options, right? Like you just mentioned, look, Foster's the veteran. Juwan Johnson's a converted receiver. Stahl's more of the blocker. So, like, how do you think they're going to use the tight end in this offense? Like, is it like a splitting out wide? Is it more of a traditional tight end? Like, we've seen Kellen Moore be able to run pretty much any offense he wants, but, like, what's it going to look like in New Orleans?
Yeah, I think the Dalton Schultz, kind of Jake Ferguson, Dallas Goedert, kind of mobile mold of like what we would call, I don't really like it. I would say like F move is usually kind of the phrase with like the versatile tight end, but I don't know how much you're going to see Juwan Johnson line up in the backfield. You know what I mean? But I think a guy that lines up in line, in the slot and out wide, that kind of role is perfectly suited for Juwan Johnson, who, as you mentioned, is a converted wide receiver. And, of course, was one of the bigger investments that the New Orleans Saints made this offseason in re-signing him. So you might as well get him out on the field, right? And then Foster Moreau is a bit more do-it-all. You could have him on the field any down in any game situation as a blocker, as a route runner. He could be a good, tough guy over the middle of the field for you, which is great for these young quarterbacks. Jake Stahl kind of factors into that as well. And so I would probably see those molds kind of being where you would see these guys most utilized, like Foster and Jake Stahl kind of being more of the traditional inline Y tight end, while you have a guy with Juwan Johnson who could be a little bit more of a chess piece joker type of tight end that you can move kind of all over the formation.
Let's flip to the defense here real quick, Ross. Look, obviously, you're going to overhaul it. This was a defense that wasn't very good a year ago. You bring in Brandon Staley. If I ask you biggest area of concern during the offseason on the defense, what would that be?
Yeah, defensive line, right? I mean, that's got to be the top thing. The Saints, for the second year in a row in a 17-game season, were not able to eclipse the 40-sack mark, which is something they eclipsed every year from 2017 on up until they hit that sort of dry spell over the last couple of years. And so I think that's a part of it. You also saw the Saints 31st in the run game in terms of run defense last year as well. And you see a lot of that coming before contact. We're talking about before contact. What we mean is getting moved by the offensive line in such a way that running backs are picking up 3-4 yards before the defenders are making contact with them, right? The congestion of the defensive line wasn't having that much of an impact. And some of that was game planning. Some of that was coaching. Some of that can be player related. It's not all on any one person's shoulders or one area's shoulders. But I think you're expecting that to get better this year. You've got returning players. You've got new players. You've got new faces. You've got great defensive line coach in Bo Davis, a focused edge rushers coach in Jay Rogers, which I think is really a nice thing because you can specify your communication and coaching to that position. And, of course, Brandon Staley brings not just a new level of coaching, a new philosophy, but also a new defensive scheme as a whole that could potentially help them out too. So you're looking for a lot more one-on-ones this year with 5 down linemen. You're looking at a more aggressive pass rush, a more aggressive matchup being played in terms of pressure in the run game and everything like that too. So there's a lot of positives in terms of where the potential is for that defensive line, where there was the most concern over the course of the offseason. I still think there's going to be a lot of action at those positions when it comes to the 2026 offseason. So I don't think that the work is done here in 2025. But I think that was my biggest concern walking in, and probably still my biggest concern right now before they head into training camp.
All right, Ross, well, before we get you out of here, let's end it on a positive note. We were talking about the biggest area of concern on the defense. Is there a spot on that side of the ball that stood out to you in a positive way?
I really like the secondary.
Okay.
And I don't mean to leave the linebackers out of the conversation or anything like that. Like you're going to feel good when Mario Davis is on the field, right? Like that's kind of a given. But I actually, where you lost Marshawn Lattimore or traded away Marshawn Lattimore last year and then lost Paul Sadibo over the course of the offseason, there was a lot of opportunity to walk into 2025 and feel like, oh man, that position group, the secondary as a whole, corners and safeties really took a big hit. But honestly, Kool-Aid McKinstry has looked fantastic. Isaac Yiadom led the NFL 2 years ago in New Orleans in 2023 in forcing completion percentage for all corners that had at least 300 snaps in coverage. So you have really good veteran play there and somebody that's very familiar, having spent 2 other stints with Brandon Staley, including last year in San Francisco. Alontae Taylor getting back to the slot and getting back to being able to be the disruptor that he's so good at being in that star/slot nickel role. And then I really like the safety addition of Justin Fields. Justin Reed, excuse me. And so I thought maybe Will Harris was a pretty big loss for them over the course of the offseason. But getting Justin Reed in the building and getting another championship-minded safety, I think, is fantastic next to Tyrann Mathieu. And a lot of young players in there, too, investing there with Jonas Sanker and Quincy Riley in the draft. Jordan Howden coming back for his 3rd year. There's a lot of good stuff that's happening there that maybe doesn't have the top-end established NFL talent names, but has a lot of potential in its youth.
Ross Jackson, you can catch him at Locked On Saints and writes articles for us here at LouisianaSports.net. Ross, thanks for the time today.
Thank you, buddy. Appreciate you having me on. You take care. Stay safe. Talk to you soon.
Yep, absolutely. That was our guy, Ross Jackson, giving us all things black and gold. All right, we're going to take a timeout. When we get back, LSU Baseball got not 1 but 2 left-handed pitchers yesterday. We're breaking it down next. This is AFR.
AFR.
If you are thinking about selling your home, maybe you've been on the fence, you've looked at rates and everything, like if you do sell, can you afford to buy the next home? Listen, the market right now is en fuego. I was talking to Darren James over the weekend, and he was like, Matt, the start of 2025 is the best start we've ever had. I'm telling you, consumer confidence is back. It is time right now to check out Darren James. Agent225.com, agent225.com. Yes, in Baton Rouge, but all over. Like, I just opened this one up. This is a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom condo in Slidell that Darren's selling right on the water there on Harbor Drive. You can check it out, 129. You can check it out right now at agent225.com, agent225.com. Listen, buying, selling, commercial, residential, you need a realtor, you need the best, you need Darren James. 335-7666 or agent225.com.
Think real estate, think Darren James.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe in a dream.
men. Age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. It's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, ice cubes.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
AFR is brought to you by First South Farm Credit. You know where to start. Your first call, your first visit, your first option when it comes to buying land in Louisiana is First South Farm Credit. And honestly, it doesn't even have to be land in Louisiana because First South Farm Credit can help you buy land in any of the contiguous 48. And they've got more than 40 branches in Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama. So if you're right here in the Southeast, there's First South Farm Credit locations all near you. But remember, like, for example, let's say a lot of our audience in New Orleans, of course. You're living in New Orleans, maybe you're starting to build a family, grow a family. You want to move to the North Shore like a lot of people do. You want to buy the 100 acres in Tangipahoa. You can. And First South Farm Credit can help because they have an office in Amite. So you can walk in there, you can do business with someone who talks like you, lives where you live, and help you buy land wherever you want to buy land in the contiguous 48. It's First South Farm Credit. If you're thinking of buying land, your first call, your first option should be First South Farm Credit. FirstSouthLand.com.
Welcome back in a Friday edition of After Further Review. Taylor Sharp sitting in for Matthew Moscona. I am in Monday as well. Then our guy Matt Musso is going to take you the rest of the week as Scone is on a much-needed vacation. He will be out all next week as well. All right, I teased it there a little bit going into break. LSU Baseball, look, they're fresh off a national championship, but they have already hit the reset button. At least head coach Jay Johnson has. We know he is the king of the baseball transfer portal, as we have seen since his time here in Baton Rouge. Well, he's already making splashes. LSU gets not one, but two left-handed pitchers yesterday. So the first one he landed was North Dakota State left-hander Danny Lockenmeyer. Danny Lockenmeyer, we're going to come back to. The second pitcher he landed was actually from an SEC rival. He gets Tennessee left-hander Ryler Smart. So Smart did not pitch at all last year for the Volunteers. However, he was a top 200 recruit coming out of the state of Texas. He redshirted in 25 due to an arm injury, so that is something to look out for. But in the high school, he featured a fastball that was in the low 90s. He will not be draft eligible until he has played 2 more college seasons. That is the same with Danny Lockenmeyer. Speaking of Lockenmeyer, let's go back to him because we have a lot more to talk about in terms of pitching and what we've seen at the collegiate level. So I just mentioned that Ryler Smart did not pitch at all due to injury. Lockenmeyer pitched for the Bison, and he actually pitched pretty well. So he threw 38 innings in relief for the Bison a season ago, struck out 56 batters. Now, he came to Baton Rouge early in the year. You remember you played North Dakota State in one of those out-of-conference midweek games early in the year. He went an inning and 2/3. He allowed 2 runs on 1 hit, but he did get 3 strikeouts against the Tigers. he struck out Ethan Fry, Luis Hernandez, and Derek Curiel. Yeah, guess what? Towards the end of the season, those three guys wound up being some of the best hitters on your baseball team. But I got this stat from Hunt a little bit earlier. Like, you can say, okay, 38 innings as a freshman, 56 strikeouts, that's great. From April 1st on, he threw 22 innings, gave up just 2 runs, 30 strikeouts, 3 walks. He dominated the competition that he played at North Dakota State. Is this guy going to come in and be a weekend starter for you next year? Is he going to be your Friday night guy? Probably not. There's a chance. I don't think so. But he's a solid arm from the left side, which you can always use more of. No matter how many lefties you have out of the pen, you could always use another one. And you add these 2 really good pitchers out of the transfer portal to a pitching staff that already returns a lot of talent. Okay, like for starters next year, like if I asked you, who do you want to be the Friday night guy next year? You're losing Cade Anderson, you're losing Anthony Irons. There are a lot of guys that have decisions to make. Zack Cowan has a decision to make. I expect Devin Sheeran to come back for another year. Didn't play at all because of injury. Gavin Guidry is going to be back. You have Cooper Williams, Maverick Rizzi, DJ Primo hopefully comes back to this team for another year. But if you ask me like who I want to see as the starter on Friday night, the first Friday of the year, it's Kason Evans. And I get it. He was so valuable a year ago out of the bullpen. You hate to do it. But as your number 3 starter, your kind of de facto third starter towards the end of the year, he proved that he can do both. Now, maybe it doesn't work out long term. Like if you remember Zach Hess, when you made the run to the national championship in 2017, was your freshman closer. A similar role to what Kason Evans did for you the majority of the year. You tried to insert him as your Friday night starter the next year. It didn't work. A third of the way through the season, you took him out of your lineup, put him back in a relief role. He was great once again as your closer. But we've seen Kason Evans be successful in starting against good teams. Whether it was picking up in the rain delay in the game in Omaha, he started that one, he wins that one. Or, down the stretch, the back end of the SEC schedule before you get into postseason. Kason Evans was excellent. Could you go Zack Cowan? Again, another guy that was very valuable to you out of the bullpen. Now, he was a lot more dominant at the beginning of the season than he was at the end, but you had to start him in a game against Arkansas to get to the national championship, and he was nails. And he was awesome for you. It was one of his best outings of the year. Devin Sheeran, who I just mentioned earlier, who did not pitch all this year because of injury, he has a chance to come in and be a starting pitcher. Because the word was he was going to compete for that role a year ago before that arm injury. You have some relievers coming back. Cooper Williams, who I think could potentially work his way in the starting role as well. Maverick Rizzi is going to be a solid arm out of the pen. Hopefully DJ Primo comes back. You'll have Gavin Guidry. Can Gavin Guidry be your closer like he was before that injury? If not, and you don't want to start Zack Cowan, could Zack Cowan be your closer? Could Lockenmeyer or Ryler Smart come in and take that role? You have a lot of arms, and Jay Johnson's not done yet. You're going to need those arms, though. Because when you look at the fielding for LSU, you lose some talent. Now, hopefully you get some talent back, but you lose some talent. As far as your infield, you lose the entire starting infield minus Stephen Mile. Because I think Daniel Dickinson's going to leave and go to the Major League Draft. Jared Jones is going to be gone at first base. I think Dickinson's likely gone. Michael Braswell's out of eligibility at third. As far as first base, if you can get Ethan Fry to return to campus, I like him there. I think he's plug and play. He's your next first baseman if he's on this team next year. As far as second goes, that's a question mark for me. Can someone on this team emerge that we didn't see a ton of? Will a freshman take that spot? Will he dip into the transfer portal? We'll have to see. At third base, you would think, okay, Tanner Reeves is coming back. He's going to slide in there. Maybe, but maybe not. Like, you look at Tanner Reeves, batted last year as a whole, 262 in limited appearances. But he hovered around 200 in SEC play. Like when Michael Braswell was going through his struggles, everyone said, oh, we'll just pull him out and put in Tanner Reeves. Tanner Reeves wasn't hitting much better, and he wasn't quite the glove that Michael Braswell was over there at the hot corner. I mean, Michael Braswell made game-changing plays in the College World Series over at third. Another reason why I'm thinking it may not be Tanner Reeves, every single year that Jay Johnson has been here, a transfer player has played third base. So when he came over, he brought Jacob Berry with him from Arizona. Jacob Berry was a pretty good third baseman. He was an excellent bat in your lineup. He was here 1 year, went to the ship. Then you bring in Tommy White. He was your starter for 2 years at third base. This past year, you moved Michael Braswell there from shortstop, who was also a transfer. He doesn't like to go with a lot of young guys there at third base. He likes experience there because he knows how important of a position it is over there on that hot corner. Do you trust Tanner Reeves enough, or do you have to go get a guy, a premier infielder that enters the portal and say, hey, that's the guy I want, let's bring him in? So depending on what they do in the portal, there's a chance Reeves doesn't come back. But right now, as of returning starters, Stephen Milam in the infield is the only one that you can chalk in there. The outfield should be good, though. You get Jake Brown back. Derek Curiel is going to be back on campus. I mean, your outfield's going to be pretty good. I'm happy with where that is. The catcher, Kader and Beatty should lock it down. So you're not done in the transfer portal. As a matter of fact, you're just getting started. And you already like the way things have shaped out. Whether it's in the field, your batting lineup, your pitchers, starters, relievers, you have a ton of options there. Jay Johnson is the king of the transfer portal. He has dominated it for multiple years now. And now, even before he even really gets started, you already have a pretty good team returning. And it's only going to get better from here. The LSU Tigers are going nowhere. They're going to be back in Omaha very, very shortly, thanks to Jay Johnson, his recruiting efforts, and all the talent coming back on this team in 2026. All right, we're going to take a quick timeout. When we get back, we're going to close out hour number 2 like we do every day with Tigers in the Pros. That's coming up on the other side here on AFR.
After further review.
GLO. GlowResources.com. GlowResources.com. Glow Resources, they are complete employer solutions. Get them by Glow Resources or go to GlowResources.com. If you're a business owner and you want to be more efficient, maybe you're really struggling to find the right person in your job at your place to make your business more efficient. Maybe you're struggling to find people who are responsible, people that show up on time, people that are efficient when they work. You ever had a job where you think, man, that should have been done in 2 hours and it takes 8 hours? Well, what if you had the right people to get that done? I'm telling you, Glow Resources can find them. And while their corporate headquarters are here in Baton Rouge, which I love about them, by the way, they've got offices in Miami, in Orlando, in Houston, in New Orleans, in the Golden Triangle, and they service businesses all over the world. So no matter where your business does business, if you need the right people, you need Glow Resources.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary, for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected. Supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team. And backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
The Windsor Senior Living Community in Mandeville, Louisiana is a beautiful, vibrant apartment community geared towards seniors. They are nestled right in the heart of Mandeville, where seniors live a more carefree lifestyle in spacious apartments with the peace of mind that comes from having a little extra help. Call the Windsor at 985-624-8040 to schedule a lunch and tour. Come see how the Windsor can be your passport to peace of mind.
Bayou Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $22,500 off MSRP on the brand new 2025 Ram 1500 Laramie with $22,500 off MSRP with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
At Luba Workers Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
Michaels Fine Jewelry, lmfj.com. lmfj.com for Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. They're the best. If you are, gentlemen, thinking about popping the question and you're thinking about where am I going to go buy that diamond, I want you to consider this. There are places that will sell you man-made lab diamonds, but what are you buying? It's according to its makeup and characteristics, sure, diamond. But is it going to hold its value? Like, is that the way you want to say, I love you, I want to spend the rest of my life with you? Go to Lee Michaels. Go to Lee Michaels. Walk in the door. Experience the thing I talk about all the time, which is the Lee Michaels experience. It's Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry with 10 locations. Baton Rouge, 2 locations in Baton Rouge. New Orleans, Lafayette, Shreveport, Mississippi, Texas as well. 10 locations across 3 states. It's Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry. Thrill her, gentlemen. Thrill her with a gift in the red box from Lee Michaels Fine Jewelry.
All right, final segment, hour number 2 here on a Friday edition of AFR. We got about 1 hour left, and before we get to that final hour, Jacob Beck taking us now with Tigers in the Pros.
Tigers in the pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
What you got for us, Mr. Beck?
All righty. First one here. Let's see. Let's go take a look at the MLB scores. There was no LSU Tigers playing yesterday, except for the ones that played in the day games. We recapped those yesterday on Tigers in the Pros. So no MLB action. No LSU players at all played last night. There are no starting pitchers pitching today from LSU, unfortunately. So nothing from the MLB. The only thing I managed to find was actually you're going to laugh at me, but it is golf.
Let's back up. I laugh at you all the time.
Yes, I know, but you're of course gonna think this is funny. But we are going to the golf course. Yeah, there you go. And it's not even the PGA Tour. Actually, it is in fact
Live Golf.
It is, in fact, the Corn Ferry Tour.
I was about to say, if it's Live Golf, Beck, I don't need Hump Palmer kicking down the studio door.
No, in fact, I don't actually think there's any LSU players on the Live Tour. Thankfully enough, there isn't.
If an LSU golfer joined the Live Tour, would Hunt Palmer pull for a new college team? I think he would.
It's possible. It's very possible. No, but we're going to the Corn Ferry Tour, which, for those who don't know, the Corn Ferry Tour is basically the G League or the AAA of professional golf, if you will. And there's actually a couple of LSU guys playing on the Corn Ferry. They've been playing pretty well also, for that matter. And the Memorial Health Championship in Springfield, Illinois, Ben Taylor, legendary LSU golfer. I don't know if I'd say that, but he was pretty good. Anyway, he is tied for 6th.
How long's he been Taylor?
Wow. Let's see. Where's the... I can't find
You don't have the rim shot.
I'm trying to find the buzzer because that was a terrible joke. Here we go. Yeah, well, I can't do it. It's on the same bar, but that's fine. Anyway, Ben Taylor tied for 6th at 9 under, and also let's see, where is he at? Hopefully, he makes the cut. It is looking for Trey Winstead. He also a former LSU golfer, was playing this tournament. Not sure if he's going to make the cut or not, but let's see if I can find him. Trey, where are you at, Trey? not coming up for some reason. All right, anyways, that's it for Tigers and the Pros.
That's it.
Yes.
No Chicago Sky love.
I don't think so.
They
no.
They play in prime time, Beck, 9 p.m. Central.
All right. Well, yeah. How about
Chicago Sky?
Shout out to Chicago Sky.
Angel Reese,
Haley
Van
Lith. Yeah, they're gonna play tonight, and they will probably lose because they stink.
Quick, what's the Chicago Sky's record?
They probably have less than 10 wins.
I have no idea. I'm genuinely asking. I don't know Chicago Sky's
Let's go
record.
check the standings real quick. The Chicago Sky are 4-10. They stink.
It's not great.
No, they're bad.
So that's not what you're saying. Is right now they're not in the playoff picture.
No, they are not.
It's not great.
No.
All right, look, that's going to do it for hour number 2 of After Further Review. We got one more hour left in the work week. We're going to talk some New Orleans Saints. We're going to talk some LSU Tigers. They gave out an off-season award yesterday. I want to break that down a little bit. And we'll see where the rest of the show goes. There's a lot of things on the dock I want to get to. We'll close this show out with Ask Us, so get those questions in the chat when the bottom of the hour comes around. And we're going to have some fun here in hour number 3. We're trying not to hit that Friday wall. We're going to have a good one. Also, little recap, Ross Jackson, LSU Baseball this hour. Stay tuned. We got 60 minutes left with you. We are working for the weekend here on a Friday edition of AFR.
After Further Review.
AFR is brought to you by Parish Restoration. Kill mold, remove odor, other harmful pathogens, commercial or residential. As a matter of fact, Parish Restoration, I love the process, by the way. If you go to the website at parishrestoration.com, you can see videos of their patented non-toxic dry fog treatment. So you see exactly what it looks like. Very cool. But they have fogged over at Parish Restoration. They fogged one of the largest buildings in the entire state of Louisiana. So it doesn't matter if it's your office building, your church, whatever it may be, school, or your home. They can even fog your car. Maybe your car has a weird odor, musty smell. Maybe you bought a used car from a smoker and you can't get that smoky smell out. This will do it. They'll come while you're at work, fog it. By the time you're done with work for the day, boom, you're back in a clean-smelling, fresh-smelling vehicle. It's Parish Restoration. Learn more at parishrestoration.com. Parishrestoration.com. Do business with someone you know. Parishrestoration.com.
Bayou Ford is taking $11,000 off MSRP with 4.9% for 60 months on the new 2025 Ford F-150 XLT, plus the complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
These ice cubes could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they cradle and cool the crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Nicely done, Ice Cubes.
Baton Rouge's home for real rock. It's Eagle 98.1. Foo Fighters. Led Zeppelin. AC/DC. Pearl Jam. And the flagship home for LSU sports. Take us anywhere with the Eagle 98.1 app. Eagle 98.1 is the rock station.
Man, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At Luba Workers Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief. Our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
At Auctioner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
This is SportsCenter.
A major shakeup in Toronto. I'm Chris Smith. Masai Ujiri is out as vice chairman and president after 13 seasons with the Raptors. And ESPN's Tim McMahon says he won't be unemployed for long.
This is a guy who's proven he can build not just a contender, but a championship team, making a blockbuster trade to bring in a Danny Green. I think there's somebody else involved in that deal too, a guy named Kawhi. But seriously, the guy built a sustained contender in Toronto, got them to the mountaintop, and if you're looking for somebody to run your franchise, I think you've got to start right here.
Ujiri won the NBA's Executive of the Year award in 2013 before leading Toronto to their only NBA title in 2019. Baseball Seattle catcher Cal Raleigh, who leads the majors in homers with 32, will participate in next month's Home Run Derby. And Mets pitcher Griffin Canning had surgery to repair a ruptured Achilles and will miss the remainder of the season and possibly part of 2026 as well. While Angels manager Ron Washington will miss the rest of the season because of an unspecified medical issue. But bench coach Ray Montgomery will be the new interim manager.
ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Insurance. Progressive Commercial Insurance flexes to fit your business's needs. From quick repairs to adjustable coverages and even payment options, Progressive Commercial makes it easy to get what you need. Quote today in as little as 7 minutes at progressivecommercial.com.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Mercedes-Benz of Baton Rouge studio.
Let's rock! Go!
Welcome in, Friday edition of After Further Review. Hour number 3 here, brought to you by Don Juan Cigar Bar. Filling in for Matt Moscona, I'm Taylor Sharp. We got Paul O'Neill.
They're chanting Paul O'Neill's name.
And Mr. Jacob Beck. "60 minutes left in our work week here. Before we head out to the weekend, let's have some fun. Let's make it a good one. Want to talk a little New Orleans Saints right here. Our guy, Ross Jackson, who we just had on a little bit earlier, put out an article on LouisianaSports.net talking about camp battles. And he wanted to highlight Danny Stutzman, the 4th-round rookie out of Oklahoma, and whether or not he could have a meaningful role on the defense coming up in 2025. And I think he can. So obviously, when you look at the New Orleans Saints linebacker position, your starters are pretty much set. Pete Werner, Demario Davis. Demario Davis is a franchise staple. I understand that he's getting older, but he's still a productive player. Pete Werner, right there next to him, a solid piece. Both of them have been relatively healthy throughout their time in New Orleans. They are solidified as the go-to options at that position. As far as your interior linebackers, because keep in mind, you're bringing in Brandon Staley. He's traditionally ran that 3-4 defense. You're going to have 2 interior linebackers and then 2 more out there on the edge. It's kind of that linebacker D-end hybrid. But outside of Demario Davis and Pete Werner, that spot's up for grabs. Can it be Danny Stutzman? Can Stutzman be the key rotational piece if Demario Davis needs a breather, if Pete Werner needs a breather? When you look at the competitors, there's not a ton of competition. I mean, you have DeMarco Jackson, Nafai Sewell, second-year player Jalen Ford. Like, they're all talented players. Sewell out of that group leads the way in the number of defensive starts. And guess how many he has? He's got 1. So between DeMarco Jackson, Nafai Sewell, and Jalen Ford, 1 start, and it belongs to Sewell. Let's look at Sewell real quick. That's his biggest competition, right? So he was a productive player in college, played 5 years at Nevada, then 2 at Nevada, 3 more at Utah. Not a pass rusher at all, but he's perfect for a 3-4 inside linebacker. He can be a run stuffer. He had over 250 tackles in a 5-year college career. Not a single one of them was a sack, and 24 tackles for a loss. He is your hard-nosed run stuffer. He's not that dissimilar to a guy like Danny Stutzman. Like, they're even similar size. Like, Nafai Sewell, 6 foot, around 230 pounds. Danny Stutzman last year at Oklahoma was listed 6'3", 230 pounds. So they're very similar builds. Go look at Stutzman. 4-year starter at Oklahoma. 376 tackles over a 4-year career. 8 sacks, 3 interceptions, 37 tackles for a loss. Super productive in the Power 4, whether it was the first 3 years when Oklahoma was in the Big 12 or last year in the SEC. From 2022 to 2024, Danny Stutzman started 37 consecutive games on that Oklahoma Sooners defense. He's very durable, and he's a damn good player. He is your traditional sideline-to-sideline tackler. Again, not a huge pass rusher, 8 sacks over a 4-year period, but you don't need him to do that, especially in the 3-4 defense. I really like the potential of a Danny Stutzman. I think the 3-4 defense, though, matters because we talked about DeMarco Jackson, Nafai Sewell, Jalen Ford. If one of them can prove that they can move outside into that 3-4, be that de facto outside linebacker DN hybrid, that frees up the logjam in the middle as well. So as far as that backup role goes, I think Danny Stutzman's in line to get it. I think he wins that backup role. I think he's your 3rd inside linebacker. Now, whether that means giving a breather to Demario Davis or Pete Werner, or if you need to go to a 3-3-5, do you insert him as your 3rd linebacker? There's endless possibilities with Danny Stutzman. I think he was a steal in the 4th round. And, we had Ross on earlier, and he was talking about, I don't want to overlook the linebacker position, but it's hard to be worried about them with a guy like Demario Davis. I get that. Nobody's really talking about the linebacker position because it's been so solid. It's been the constant on your defense, the most consistent group. Davis, Pete Werner, and just mentioned the talent behind them with Danny Stutzman and company. That group's going to have to be good because the Saints Wire put out an article that Pro Football Focus ranks the Saints defensive line as the worst defensive line in the NFL. Now, look, usually I take what PFF says with a grain of salt. I think their analytics are a little all over the place, but it kind of makes sense. I mean, you look at where they were. I mean, the reasonings make sense. Like, for example, New Orleans ranked near the bottom of the NFL with only 39 sacks, and they were 31st against the run. So 39 sacks total and the 2nd to worst team in the NFL against the run. You can't stop the run. You can't rush the passer. You're not a good defensive line. When you go look at their grades, the whole NFC South is this way. Okay, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were the highest rated defensive front in the NFC South a year ago, and they come in at 27th. Carolina Panthers at 28, Falcons at 30, New Orleans Saints at dead last at 32. So this linebacking core, whether it's Stutzman, whether it's Nafai Sewell, backing up Demario Davis and Pete Werner, is going to have to be really good because you're playing in front of a very questionable defensive line, to put it nicely. You bring back Chase Young. You'll have him and Carl Granderson on the edge. I think those are your 2 starters. I think there's still a role for Cam Jordan. I mean, he's not even close to the player that he was, 4 years ago, but can you get something out of it? Still have Isaiah Foskey in his 3rd year. Can you finally get something out of him? You spent a 2nd-round pick on him. You also have 7th-round rookie Fadil Diggs and undrafted free agent Jasheem Davis. Fadil Diggs was productive at Syracuse. He put up decent numbers. He made some nice plays. He's a talented player. I'm just not sure how much you can count on him in 2025. As far as the interior, your returners, Brian Bresee, you add Davin Godchall, and you bring back Kalen Saunders and Nathan Shepard. Brian Bresee actually quietly had a really good year a year ago. Like, if I would have told you he had 7.5 sacks from the interior, you probably wouldn't believe me. He had 7.5 sacks in the interior. And he actually has 12 sacks total over a 2-year span. He's really good there as far as an interior pass rusher. He's just not good at stopping the run. But if you can get some run stuffers in there like Sewell, like Stutzman, like Demario Davis, like Pete Werner, can they kind of help with that defensive line stopping the run? Now, you're going to need your D-line to step up. You cannot be as bad as you were last year, but can the linebackers help there a little bit? You brought in a little bit of help, but, I mean, not a ton. Like, you drafted Vernon Broughton in round 3. Broughton was a solid player at Texas. He's a big guy, 6'4", around 300 pounds. 5-year player at Texas, played in 56 games in college. He's played a lot of football. Just 6.5 sacks over that 5-year span, 13 tackles for a loss. Vernon Broughton could be your run stuffer, but what is his role going to look like? You thought Kalen Saunders and Nathan Shepard could be a run stuffer. You pair him with Brian Bresee, who could rush the passer. Neither of them were able to do that this year. What kind of role does Vernon Broughton have on this team moving forward? So the point being, you have questions in the secondary. Your D-line, I think, has more questions than any position group on the field. But your linebackers are actually pretty good. And you have solid potential young players behind them. If your linebackers can be solid, can they help nullify that running game woes of your defensive line just enough to be a serviceable defense? Look, Brandon Staley is a good defensive coach. He's not going to come in and turn a D-line that was ranked dead last in the NFL into a top 10 D-line in the league. Can you get to 20th, 17th? I mean, can you be a middle-of-the-road defensive line? If you can, and the secondary becomes good as Ross Jackson and others are saying that they have looked in camp, you know you have solid linebackers, you could actually have a pretty decent defense, but it's all going to come down to that front seven, the linebackers, and, of course, that D-line up front. All right, we're going to take a quick timeout. When we get back, LSU Football gave out an off-season award. We're talking about Freak of the Week next here on AFR.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Rouse's.com. Rouse's.com. Remember, you can always download the Rouse's app. I encourage you to do that. If you're shopping, download the Rouse's app. Select your items. Your personal shopper will go pick them out for you. You pull up in one of the designated spaces, and they'll bring it out to your vehicle. It's at Rouse's. Go to Rouse's.com. You can find the location nearest you at Rouse's.com or in the Rouse's app. And as always, boy, no matter what you're looking for, they got you covered. May is Pet Month. You may not know that. So they've got tons of great items on sale all month long for your pet, from treats and dog and cat food and all different types of things, supplements. You can check it all out at Rouse's all this month at May, with it being Pet Month. So treat your best friend, courtesy of our friends over at Rouse's, the official supermarket of the New Orleans Saints. Find the location nearest you with 70 locations from Lake Charles to Orange Beach, Alabama, and points in between. It's Rouse's. This feels like home.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Value Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram is taking $22,500 off MSRP on the brand new 2025 Ram 1500 Laramie with $22,500 off MSRP with a complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Value Automotive vehicles. If you need sales or service, the crew at Value Automotive is going to do right by you.
Flight by Yingling is raising the bar by crafting the next generation of light beer. With only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Flight by Yingling. Raise the bar.
It's not just a game, it's a religion. You've got your team colors, team swag, and now your very own website. LouisianaSports.net. Everything LSU, Saints, and Pelicans. Sports on demand. In-depth coverage by sports writing pros with continuously updated news. And with the LouisianaSports.net newsletter, you get pinged directly with top trending stories. Best of all, now and always, no paywall. It's free. LouisianaSports.net. Powered by 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Your home for Louisiana sports.
ED, low T, or simply seeking to optimize your health and performance? Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness offers a range of discreet services to address your specific needs. We empower men to reclaim their health and confidence. Visit yourgoodwood.com.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar, but instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
At Sunshine, we know what you see when you look at your land. Where others may see dirt, you see the foundation you've built your life on. This, it's hallowed ground. It's past, present, and future. We're proud to provide quality John Deere equipment to help you maintain the land you love. Check out our current promotions and learn more about what it means to be powered by sunshine at sunequip.com.
After further review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. If you've been injured and it's not your fault, do what injured people in Louisiana have done for more than 30 years. Call Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. 888-8888. It's all 8s. 888-8888. I don't even need to give you the area code because no matter where you are in the state, it doesn't matter. Just dial 888-8888 for Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Gordon does an awesome job, man. He's a great person. They've been so invested in our communities with all the charitable and service work that they do. They give back into the communities that they represent, no matter what time of year. If it's the bike giveaway for kids around Christmas time, if it's the laptop giveaway around back to school time, if it's the charitable work they do during October for Breast Cancer Awareness Month, they're always involved in the community. We tell you all the time, of course, about the G Team and what Gordon's done with NIL and the opportunities that he's afforded student athletes. Just a great, great community partner. If you've been injured, you need representation, go to getgordon.com. That's getgordon.com. Get Gordon and get it done.
All right, welcome back in. Friday edition of After Further Review. Taylor Sharp sitting in for Matt Moscona. We got about, guys, I can see it. We have about 45 minutes left in this work week. 43 minutes right now. As of this moment, we can see it. Look, it has been a long week. Everybody kind of decided to take a vacation. Wanted to take it easy this summer, but we are here grinding. Speaking of working hard, the LSU football team and their off-season workouts, and, something Jake Flint started when he got here at LSU, wanted to give out an award for a guy working hard in the off-season, getting right, whether it's weight room, whether it's conditioning, and they just gave out another one. Here is your latest Freak of the Week.
Give him respect where it's due. The highest point getter in his position group, third highest point in the team. This guy is a 265-pound human running over 20 miles per hour, and this guy just works. Hey, Rutherford, where you at? Yeah. Hey!
All right, so there it is. Gabriel Relaford, the sophomore defensive end. LSU's latest Freak of the Week. Look, when you look at a guy like Gabriel Relaford, he was a 4-star coming in. The coaching staff was very excited about him. Played a little bit last year. He appeared in 13 games. Just 10 tackles total, half a sack, 1 tackle for loss. But he was a role player. He was a rotational piece. I mean, you had Savion Jones and Braden Swinson, who both wound up being really, really good SEC defensive ends last year on that Blake Baker defense. But Gabriel Relaford got in there, and look, when he did, he made some plays for you. He showed those flashes. And by all accounts, he had a really good spring. I think there's a chance Gabriel Relaford's really good on this team for the Tigers in 2025. Can he make that second-year jump? Swenson, Savion Jones, they are both gone. Those are two key losses for this Blake Baker defense. If anybody can get the most out of a Gabriel Relaford, it's Blake Baker and it's Kevin Peoples. Everyone on that defensive line raves about how good of a coach Kevin Peoples is. And I mentioned how big of a loss Braden Swenson and Savion Jones were, and they certainly were. But in my opinion, this is the best position you got in the transfer portal. You dominated pass rusher in the transfer portal. So you obviously have Gabriel Relaford. You got 3 impact players at this position out of the portal. Let's look at Jack Pyburn. Pyburn, probably the most similar to Gabriel Relaford. So Pyburn comes in, about 6'4", 6'5", 260 pounds. 3-year player at Florida. He was a starter last year, appeared in 12 games. 60 total tackles, 4 tackles for a loss. Now, in 3 years at Florida, Jack Pyburn 1 sack. But that's why he came here at LSU. One of the first things that Jack Pyburn said on this show when Matt Moscona interviewed him was, I came to LSU to be an every down player. I was not a third down pass rusher at Florida. I came here to do that at LSU. He said, I think I was decent at it in blue and orange, but I think coming here under this coaching staff, under Kevin Peoples, will make him a very good pass rusher. We know what he can do in the run game as well. If he can put it all together, that's a guy I'm really excited about. You also, though, grab Jamari Butler and Patrick Payton. Jamari Butler from Nebraska, big, 6'5", 245 pounds. 4 years in Nebraska, a 3-year starter, 7.5 sacks over the past 2 years, in 23 and 24 combined. Another really good player. He is more of a traditional pass rusher off the edge. Like Relaford, we've seen flashes, we just need consistency. Jack Pyburn straight up wasn't a pass rusher at Florida. Jamari Butler played more of that traditional role. I think there's a role for him on this team as well. The last guy I want to look at is Patrick Payton. You want to talk about pass rushers, Patrick Payton's it. Now, he's a little bit light. He comes in about 215, 220 pounds, standing at 6'5", but he was a 4-year player at Florida State. Played a lot of football, 40 games over a 4-year period, 110 total tackles, 32 for a loss, 16 sacks. If you need a guy to come in on third down and be your pass rusher, it's going to be Patrick Payton. Make no mistake about it. I mentioned that I liked what they did at this position in the transfer portal, but they also grabbed a variety of guys. Jack Pyburn, who is your hard-nosed run stuffer, who hopes to become a pass rusher. Jamari Butler, who's big, strong, 6'5", 245 pounds, who can rush the passer a little bit, but also sticks his nose in there. And then Patrick Payton, who is a bona fide pass rusher. I just mentioned it's 16 sacks over a 3-year period. 32 tackles for a loss over a 3-year period. Patrick Payton can get after it and blitz off the edge. When you pair that with your defensive line, I think LSU can have a good group altogether. Like last year, you were pretty good on the edge. I'll keep mentioning Jones and Swenson, but you were kind of a liability in the middle. Now, part of that's due to injury. Jacobian Guillory goes down very early in the season. He doesn't play. He was going to kind of be the anchor of that defensive line group. But outside of him, Ahmad Bro had to come in. You actually moved him from end to tackle. He played a lot earlier than you maybe wanted him to. Now, looked really good. Dominic McKinley came on as the season went along. You had Gio Paez, who was probably the most consistent of your defensive tackles a year ago. But I think you've done good there as well. Jacobian Guillory comes back. 6th year here at LSU. Ahmad Bro, he's back for his 2nd year. Showed you nice things as a freshman. Dominic McKinley, all the talent in the world, has all the raw tools. He was a freshman a year ago. He's another year older in this program. I think you also did really, really good in high school recruiting in terms of this. You got Zion Williams, 6'3", 335 pounds. You got a number of those guys. Brandon Brown's a guy that can play inside. Walter Mathis, 6'3", 281. You put a little bit of weight on him, he can slide inside. We know this because Ahmad Bro got on campus at 245 pounds, and he wound up playing defensive tackle for you a year ago. Now, you do lose Bo Davis, but Everybody's very excited about Kyle Williams. I'm not saying that the defensive lines are going to be the backbone of this team, but I think they're going to be a lot better than they were a year ago. And I think it's the defense as a whole that's better. Like when I look at last year's DB room, Zy Alexander on the outside, Stamps on the other. I thought they were pretty good. Your safeties were questionable. Jordan Gilbert was iffy. Sage Ryan, he had blown coverages all over the place. Deshaun Spears, when you put him out there was a lot of hype around him. He looked like a freshman. He looked like he wasn't ready. Well, now, Ashton Stamp's another year older. Yes, you lose Zy Alexander, but look at what you bring in. Jakeem Jackson from Florida. Mansour Delane from Virginia Tech. You get the number one cornerback in the country out of high school when DJ Pickett. And I think you're better at safety. Sean Spears is a year older. Javian Toviano is now at safety full-time. Jordan Gilbert's back at LSU for his second year in the program. Then you went and got Tamarcus Cooley. You went and got these guys out of the transfer portal. CJ Jim Coyley comes in as a safety. These are guys you need to be good in order for this defense to have success. And I think you're better on every level this year than you were a year ago. But that defensive line, and mainly the defensive ends, is going to tell the story for you on defense. Because I think you lost the most with Braden Swinson and Savion Jones. But you have Relaford back, and you go get Jack Pyburn, Jamari Butler, and Patrick Payton. I love what you did there. I mean, I really do. And I trust Blake Baker. Talked about this a little bit yesterday. Before Blake Baker got to Missouri, they were awful. His first year there in Columbia, he makes them a respectable defense. His second year at Missouri, they're top 30 in the country in terms of defensive production. 2 years ago, under Matt House, we always talk about it, 2023, right? You had a historically good offense, a historically bad defense. If that defense was halfway decent, LSU's probably a college football playoff team, and the chatter around Brian Kelly right now is completely different. You move on from him. What does Blake Baker do in year one? You're not where you want to be, but you're much improved from where you were in 2023. Can Blake Baker make that same year two jump that he made in Missouri? I think he can. I think he has the pieces to do it. He's got a lot more bodies at defensive tackle. You just didn't have any bodies. I mean, you brought in JVR Suggs from Grand Valley State to be a depth piece. You want to be in your best interior pass rusher. Two freshmen played a lot. One of them in Ahmad Bro, as I just mentioned, came in as a DN. You had to move him to tackle out of necessity. Gio Paez was your only experienced pass rusher on the interior, and that was it. There was nobody else behind him. You have a lot more bodies in the middle, and while you lose two really good defensive ends, I think top to bottom, you're better. Because even with Swinson and Jones on the team last year, you had true freshman Gabriel Relaford, and you didn't really have a ton after that. We know the linebackers are going to be better. At least I think so. Whit Weeks will be fully healthy. West Weeks is back. Devon Key showed a lot of promise at the end of the year. He should slide in at that second inside linebacker spot next to Whit Weeks. Harold Perkins is going to be back at star. If he's fully healthy, I think he fits the best there. And I just broke down the secondary, how much more improved they are. Whether it's the D-line, the linebackers, the secondary, this team is improved across the board from a year ago to where they are now. And Blake Baker's a big part of that. Hopefully guys like Gabriel Relaford are as well. All right, we're going to take a timeout. When we get back, we're going to have a little fun the last two segments of the show. We're coming back next here on AFR.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Clegg's Nursery with 4 locations in the greater Baton Rouge area. Siegen near Airline, LA 16 in Denham. Mid-City on Don Moore, Garden Center on Greenwell Springs. You know those 4 locations, and what an awesome time to get by Clegg's Nursery because they still have every single day shipments of flowers coming in, plants, trees, shrubs. You want to beautify the exterior of your home. You want to add that pop of color to your flower bed, to your patio pots. Maybe you got unwanted pests like ants or snakes or mosquitoes, wasps. They can help you take care of all of them. Maybe you got weeds coming up in your lawn. You want to get rid of that. Maybe you got dead spots in your lawn. The horticulturists, the professionals at Clegg's Nursery have the knowledge, the know-how, the expertise, and all the products you need to win Yard of the Month every month for your whole life. Guaranteed. Actually, I can't back that up. you have to do some of the work too. It's Clegg's Nursery.
There it is, the extra mile, on the border of expected and extraordinary for those willing to go further, like vans customized for work or play, with safety and tech to keep you connected, supported by a 5-star sales, service, and finance team, and backed by the 1-star you know. So go the extra mile. It's never crowded, because so few have what it takes to go there. Mercedes-Benz Vans.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
We typically think of stress as being bad for us. At Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, we are researching how certain types of stress, such as exercise, can be good for our immune health. By studying people under extreme stress, such as athletes, astronauts, service members, and first responders, we're learning how to improve the immune health of everyone. That's the power of research. That's the impact of champions. Together, we roar.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
At Luba Workers' Comp, our journey began over 30 years ago with a simple belief: our clients come first.
At Luba, our business has always been focused on people, not policies.
Through every success and challenge, we've continued to grow because we've stayed true to our values, committed to providing you with genuine dependability.
Because your well-being is more than a priority. It's our purpose.
At Bayou Automotive, we believe in a sales process that puts you first. We want you to experience an easy purchase with clear pricing and great service. Let Bayou Ford and Bayou Chrysler Dodge.
After Further Review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
As we get on down the road, remind you about South Point Volkswagen, airline just north of Highland, and SouthPointVW.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online at SouthPointVW.com, SouthPointVW.com. You know, one of the things that's really worth stressing when I tell you all the time about why I love driving a Volkswagen. Remember, at South Point Volkswagen, their vehicles are manufactured right here in the US of A. So you get the great German engineering, safety features, performance, all of it, without the cost and the benefit of supporting American jobs. But even more importantly right now, as people talk about tariffs and rising costs and all that stuff, these vehicles are manufactured in the US of A, so you don't even have to worry about the tariffs and all that conversation. So another benefit of shopping at South Point Volkswagen, Louisiana's largest volume Volkswagen dealer, and they're awesome people as well. Volkswagen, so much it's a culture, it's a vibe, it's fun to drive, and they're fun to deal with as well. Airline just north of Highland, South Point Volkswagen.
All right, welcome back into a Friday edition of After Further Review. Just a few segments to go here before we hit our weekend and have a few much-needed days off. Taylor Sharp here, sitting in for Matt Moscona. We got Paul O'Neill. We got Jacob back. And guys, I have big news. And when I mean big news, I mean great news. I mean the biggest thing you'll hear all day. I mean just something that just makes me giddy. Okay. I was reading this during break. This is not sports related whatsoever. But you know what? It's Friday. Let's have a little fun. According to WAFB, this was actually put out a couple days ago, but I just saw it. A major change is about to hit Louisiana roads as it targets drivers who want to cruise in the left lane. Guys, I'm excited. This law will take place August 1st. It will allow law enforcement officers to issue tickets to drivers who are going even 1 mile per hour under the speed limit in the left lane of multi-lane highways. Now, this was a previous law, but it allowed 10 miles under. Now, just 1 mile under, get you pulled over, get you a ticket. I love this. This is big news for me, Beck. Because as a guy that drives to work every morning at 5:30, you would think, oh, there's no traffic. Well, that's true until there's some a-hole going 65 miles an hour in the fast lane. What are we doing here? Get out of the way. Like this person right here is quoted, 1 mile per hour? What are we talking about here? That's kind of ridiculous. Get out of here, loser. Get in a different lane.
Well, that's the point. Yeah, it's like you can go 1 mile per hour slower than the speed limit in any other lane.
That's right. Why are you in the left lane? And like, this is not a joke. Like, this happened to me yesterday. Full disclosure, I like to drive fast. Okay, it's kind of my thing. Like, you can call me Vin Diesel or Paul Walker or whatever you want to do.
No, I'm good.
I like to kind of drive fast. Not ridiculously fast, but, you know, a cool 80. Going home in a 70. Like, you know, nothing crazy. But there's people that are going like 65, and like if you try to pass them, they'll like speed up, and they're like, no, you're not passing me. Oh, look, Crystal Joseph. If you're out there, Crystal, shout out to you. She said, I think this would help a lot. If you're going slow, just get out of the left lane and let us pass. Absolutely. What are we doing? The amount of 18-wheelers that I pass in the fast lane is ridiculous. Like, get over. Get over to the outside lane. Bet I can't be the only one that has an issue with this.
No, it's a problem. I think I do wonder how this is going to be enforced. I mean, are there going to be like cops radaring for speed?
So I don't know that, but I'll tell you this: when I was I went to college at Southeastern.
Yeah.
And that interstate, for whatever reason, like Walker to Hammond, is 2 lanes.
Yes. Not good.
Like it's 3 lanes until you pass the bustling metropolis that is Satsuma.
Right.
And then they're like, clearly it doesn't need to be 3 lanes after that. So it's down to 2. And it's 2 basically there all the way to Hammond. There, I mean, kids are being late for school and all this because like the amount of 18-wheelers is so high on that road in the mornings. There's only 2 lanes. They were all in the left lane. I kid you not. They had troopers lined up in like the Albany area pulling over 18-wheelers. Any one of them that were in the inside lane. Did not matter how fast they were going.
Impressive.
And you know what? It stopped that crap. We were able to get to school on time.
All right.
Maybe it's something like that.
Maybe.
I hate to be this way, but like, dude, to and from Walker from downtown Baton Rouge, like, I could be in the best mood ever. The greatest thing could have happened at work. I'm enraged by the time I get home. It's awful.
Okay, I think. Okay, I understand. You know, I understand when it's really annoying when traffic is so bad. But at this point, Taylor, you've been doing this for quite some time, so you would think that maybe you just kind of adjusted your expectations for how long it's going to take you to get home.
It's not that it takes me long. It's just like, Beck, I'm a busy guy, man.
Yeah,
I got things to do. Brian Haldane, good law, bad law. What do we think?
All right, so there's just a few problems with this law.
Okay.
First one is the enforcement part of it that Beck mentioned.
Yeah.
Okay, because how are you going to bust people for this? Do you really want your state troopers enforcing a law that was created by... So this is by State Senator Jay Luno. Bit of a foghorn leghorn personality here, very overbearing, very... And I've broken bread with the man, and well, that sounded very Stephen A. Smith name drop right there.
But, yeah.
Much love, much respect for the brother. Well. But let me tell you something.
But law enforcement, the enforcement part of this is a bad thing. That same I-12 corridor that you're talking about to get you here and to get you to Southeastern, that is the most heavily trafficked human trafficking corridor there is. Do you want those state troopers pursuing someone going 1 mile per hour under the speed limit, or do you want them stopping human trafficking?
Well, when you put it that way, it just makes me sound selfish, Brian.
Well, so there's that end of it. The other end of it is if there's no trooper there, you have to break the law to enforce the law. The only other way to get this done is for people to start whipping out their cell phones and filming people, which would be against the law. Also, a lot more dangerous as well. And there's a third part of this as well that, and this is like old school Family Guy. I don't think laws should be written based off things that grind your gears.
Yeah.
But see, I do.
Fair.
And in fairness,
I'm with you in sentiment.
fairness, a lot grinds my gears. Like, we'll complete honesty here.
Mm-hmm.
A lot grinds the gears. But look, at the end of the day, guys, get out of the slow lane. Get out of the fast lane. Nobody's saying you can't drive 65. If you're a grandmother and you want to go 50 on the interstate, that's fine. Do it in the outside lane.
Okay, but if we're going to go down that route, can we add to it then? If we're going to go down this route, can we add to it? Can you not talk on a cell phone on speaker while in the grocery store? Can that be a law?
Probably not.
I would much rather see that. I don't need to know that your cousin has syphilis, okay? I don't that conversation in the line at the grocery store, I didn't need to be privy to that. Okay? So if we're going to base laws off of what grinds my gears, I want to start there. Number 2, let's stop using checks at the grocery store.
Oh.
I mean, we're just going to open this whole can of worms up.
Okay, so speaking of checks at the grocery store, my college job, I worked at Carter Supermarket in Livingston, Louisiana. It's like it's basically Livingston Parish chain. You got like 6 of them, but like they're confined to Livingston. So, I did a multitude of different things, not unlike what I do here. But like sometimes when they'd put you on the cash register, you'd walk up and you had this ancient check machine that looked like it was made probably somewhere around World War II. And the lady would come up and be like, check. I'd be like, somebody else has to come do this. I don't know how to work this. Like, it was like so old that it was foreign technology to me. Yeah, I'm with you on that.
I actually worked at a grocery store as well, and there were a few people that were frequent visitors to the store, and they used checks. And especially whenever there was a long line, it was very annoying because there's just no way. There's no way of doing it quickly. It's gonna take at least 5 minutes to do it. So it is very, very annoying. I mean, you obviously have a checkbook. You obviously have a debit card at least. You just use the debit card. You're not doing anything by using a check besides being able to record. If you want to record your spending, just get a notebook and write it down. I mean, like, you can do it.
Get a legal pad like Hunt Palmer.
Exactly. You don't need to use checks. We don't need checks right now. Just why? Not at a grocery store.
Well, thank you, Brian Haldane, for your insight and
happy to help.
Making me feel bad on a Friday.
Yeah.
You know what?
Yeah,
no, I don't care. He's gone now. No, I like it. Keep the law. Get out of the way.
Anytime
I see a car, it'll have like the dent in the bumper. I'm like, yeah, no, I got there. Somebody's trying to push your ass out of the fast lane is what happened. That's exactly what occurred. Freaking Brian. While we're on the topic, you know what else grinds my gears, Beck?
What?
Aaron Rodgers.
Oh, yeah.
Aaron Rodgers grinds my gears. Do we think Aaron Rodgers at this point in his career enjoys playing football? Because I don't.
I don't know that he ever has.
So I've been reading all week. Like, I didn't watch the Pat McAfee interview because they go like 45 minutes. But like all week long, a few quotes have like came out here and there. If I'm a Pittsburgh Steelers fan, I hate the fact that Aaron Rodgers is my quarterback right now. First off, I think it was very apparent that he never wanted to come here. Like, he didn't sign with his team till mid-June. I get it. If you have personal stuff going on, that's one thing. I get it. But also a report came out that, like, Pittsburgh was his third choice and, like, he was Pittsburgh's third choice. So, like, that's not a good way to start off this marriage. But he's on the McAfee show a few days ago. He says, like, he's a walking contradiction is like the main problem I have with him. Like, I don't know Aaron Rodgers. I'm not saying I don't like him as a person. I don't think he's a good quarterback. Like, a lot of people are like, oh, Aaron Rodgers is completely washed. I thought he was better last year than a lot of people say. Like, what did he do last year? Okay, 3,800 yards, 28 touchdowns, 11 picks. Like, not terrible. Like, that's all right. And he certainly lost a step, but like, I don't think he's completely washed. But he goes on the McAfee show talking about, well, he says, this is probably my last season playing, but I don't want a farewell tour. Saying that it was probably your last year playing football before the season starts, it's all but certain that this is going to be a farewell tour for Aaron Rodgers in every stadium that he goes to. Like, let's get that out of the way right there. And you could say, oh, well, he would have to answer that question every week throughout the season. I get it, but like, just say, oh, well, I haven't thought about it. I'll cross that bridge when we get there. Then he says, I don't want to be in the public eye. Beck, what other NFL quarterback is a recurring guest on a national show?
I think that's it.
Aaron Rodgers is it? Well, he says he doesn't want to be in the public eye, but like he's in the public eye all the time. Find me a quarterback in the NFL that's in the public eye more than Aaron Rodgers. There's not one. He also, says he doesn't have anything left to prove in his career, which I don't think is true either. He won a Super Bowl 15 years ago. Congrats, Aaron. That was 15 years ago. He's 7-9 in the playoffs since walking off the field with that Lombardi trophy. I think he has a little bit to prove. And okay, get this before we go to break. He said, for my last season, I want love, fun, and peace. Does he not realize that he's playing NFL football? I'm over here. What are your thoughts on Aaron Rodgers at this point? I'm over it. He has become a guy to me that, I was unsure about when he first got in the NFL. I was like, is this guy overhyped? Then I started watching hey, he's really good. I like Aaron Rodgers. Then I've kind of completely flipped. I'm over him at this point.
Yeah, it's tiring. Or at least I'll say I'm tired of the Aaron Rodgers charade, if you will. It doesn't seem to me like he really cares or really wants to be here right now in terms of being with the Steelers and really going to put in all the time required to be the best that he can be. Look, the Steelers signed up for it though. I'm not gonna be mad at Aaron Rodgers. If the Steelers are willing to sign him and they understand, the risk and just what he has been the last few years, they knew the risk when they signed him. So I'm not going to be mad at him for doing it, but at the same time, yeah, let's go ahead and finish off your career here, Aaron. You're going to probably not make the playoffs. The Steelers are an average roster at best. Maybe they sneak into a wild card, but they're not winning the Super Bowl. So go ahead and play your last year. He
doesn't want a farewell tour, though.
No.
In case you were wondering.
Right.
He doesn't want that.
Okay, that's fine. You don't need it then. Who cares? We won't give you one then. We won't have every stadium play a video of you. That's fine. But yeah, let's go ahead and just get him out of the NFL and we can move on with our lives.
All right. Oh, triggered that segment. So as we're doing it, I just left the door open here in studio. One, it's freezing. Two, I'm like, it's 5:40 on a Friday. Nobody's here anyways. It's not like they're going to be loud during the show. And Brian Haldane's office is literally right across from this studio. You can, on the other camera, you can literally see it. So, okay, Paul just pulled it up. That door that you're looking at, that's Brian Haldane's office. He's walking out and he's kind of listening. I'm like, Brian has the politicians and the lawmakers on all the time. Let's get his thought. And all Brian did was make me feel selfish, but stand by the statement, whatever. Look, let's end this show on a lot happier note. We're going to close it out next with a little Ask Us here on AFR.
AFR.
Brought to you by River City's 1 Hour Air, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. 752-0001, 752-0001, where they're always on time or you don't pay a dime. I love sharing 5-star Google reviews. Here's one from Ricky Gomez, who said Chris, his technician, was very professional and knowledgeable during the HVAC evaluation. He provided details and recommendations in a clear and concise manner. That's one of the things that always stands out. If you're having an issue with your AC or your heater, and River City's 1 Hour Air sends out a technician for an evaluation, they're going to explain your options to you. And that may sound simple, but none of it, I don't know anything about an HVAC, neither do you. Let's be honest. So whenever they go get up in your attic or they go look at your HVAC unit on the side of your house and they come talk to you, they're going to explain very clearly what's happening and your options to remedy it. It's River City's 1 Hour Air. Look for the big yellow vans and trucks with the giant clock on the side. 752-0001.
Bayou Ford is taking $11,000 off MSRP with 4.9% for 60 months on the new 2025 Ford F-150 XLT, plus the complimentary 7-year powertrain warranty that comes with all new Bayou Automotive vehicles. If you need sales or service, the crew at Bayou Automotive is going to do right by you.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Men, age is just a number. Don't let it dictate how you feel. Goodwood Men's Sexual Wellness has anti-aging services that can help you look and feel your best. Visit yourgoodwood.com and discover a renewed sense of vitality.
At Ochsner, we know healing is a team sport. That's why we've partnered with world-renowned orthopedic surgeon Dr. James Andrews to create the Ochsner Andrews Orthopedics and Sports Medicine Institute. Whether you're a professional athlete or a weekend warrior, our team of specialists are dedicated to getting you back in the game. So whatever your reasons are for reaching your personal best, we've only got one: you. Ochsner Andrews Institute. Long live you.
These are the luckiest ice cubes in the world. They could have been a thankless bed for an all-you-can-eat salad bar. But instead, they've been called upon to cradle and cool a crisp, refreshing Dos Equis. Looks like the lucky just got luckier. Dos Equis.
Flight by Yingling is raising the bar by crafting the next generation of light beer. With only 2.6 carbs and 95 calories, this is premium refreshment 6 generations in the making. Flight by Yingling. Raise the bar.
After Further Review with Matt Moscona, presented by Don Juan Cigar Bar.
It is my pleasure this week to welcome our new partner on to After Further Review, Our Lady of the Lake. Of course, great partnership as well as the official championship health partner of LSU. When you think who takes care of the LSU athletes, well, it's Our Lady of the Lake and the physicians there. Game-changing care, keeps athletes at their best, builds stronger, healthier Louisiana for all of us at every level. I've told you about my experience throughout my life, living in Baton Rouge at Our Lady of the Lake, from volunteering at the Ronald McDonald Playroom to helping raise funds through so many different fundraising efforts for the standalone Children's Hospital to taking my son to see specialists there at Our Lady of the Lake Children's Hospital, to my own personal health. My GP is Dr. Kurt Chastain with Our Lady of the Lake Men's Health. It's good enough for the LSU athletes. It's good enough for me and you, of course. It's Our Lady of the Lake. You can learn more at OLOLRMC.com/LSU.
All right, welcome in. Final segment of a Friday edition of After Further Review. Taylor Sharp sitting in for Matt Moscona. We're going to close the show out like we do every Friday with a little Ask Us. So the first one, we got a few in the chat, but the first one's going to come from me. Guys, ask us, what is the next vacation that each of us have planned?
Okay. Actually, I will be going.
And you don't even have to have requested this off. You just know you're going somewhere.
No, I will be going to North Carolina in 3 weeks, hopefully. Let's say tentatively I'll be going to North Carolina in 3 weeks, 3 or 4 weeks.
You want to hang out with Belichick?
No. And I say tentatively because my wife is pregnant, as I've mentioned here before. I haven't talked about it in a while, but anyways, she is due August 8th. So it is possible, of course, that she may come a little early. So, but as scheduled, we'll go to North Carolina. My brother and one of our buddies are going to North Carolina to play some golf. So looking forward to that.
Paul, what we got?
The next short trip.
Anything counts.
We're probably gonna go to Atlanta, catch a Braves game. But our next big trip.
You like the Braves?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm just kidding.
Just a little bit. But our next big trip, we're gonna go to Arizona. Sam and I wanted to do that for our 10-year wedding anniversary, which was last month, but we're not going in the middle of June.
Can't say I blame you.
Middle of summer. So we're probably going to go either end of this year or like sometime beginning of next year.
Wait, where?
Arizona.
Okay, so beginning of September, I'll be going to like the Halloween Horror Nights in Universal as a family trip. And me and Victoria, like 3 weeks ago, we decided we're going to go to Utah in November to the Zion National Park.
It's going to be cold.
She loved Yellowstone. And like she's like, let's go back to Yellowstone. I'm like, look, let's try something different. So I'm thinking that LSU bye week, that last week of October, first week of November, maybe we'll go up there, trip to Utah. We'll see what happens. All right. That's going to do it for a Friday edition of After Further Review. We had a lot of fun these last 2 days. Look, we're all tired. We're bruised and battered, but we're going to have a couple days off. We'll be right back with you. On Monday, I'm in for Matt one more time. Then our guy Matt Moscona back. He will be in Tuesday through the rest of the week as our guy Scone out on a much-needed vacation. Thanks today to Zack Nagy, covers LSU for SI, hopping on, talking some recruiting. Then we had Ross Jackson, our guy here at LouisianaSports.net. Also, you can catch him, host of the Locked On Saints podcast. We talked baseball. We even talked Aaron Rodgers and traffic laws here in Louisiana. Football, Pelicans, New Orleans Saints, you name it. We blazed through a lot of topics. I'm excited to do it again right here on Monday. Thanks to Paul O'Neill. Thanks to Jacob Beck. Look, we've all been pulling double, triple shifts this week, but we had made the most of it. These two guys did an excellent job as always. All right, look, one more question. Daniel Basham asked, what goes on your pizza? What do you put on your pizza? Here's an exotic one for you. Cheese and pepperoni.
Wow.
Does pineapple belong on pizza, Beck?
No.
Oh, my God. You're the worst. Yes, it does. All right, that's going to do it officially this time for a Friday edition of After Further Review. We're back with you same time, same place on Monday. Everyone have a good weekend. This is AFR.
AFR.
We're brought to you by Supper Club. You can book your reservation, supperclubbtr.com, supperclubbtr.com. One of the things about Supper Club that I love is if you want to go to Supper Club and be a baller, you can do it. You want to go to Supper Club and order a $5,000 bottle of Chateau Lafite Rothschild, you can do it. You want to go have $400 shots of cognac, you can do it. You can have experiences at Supper Club that usually are reserved for Las Vegas and New York and Paris and Abu Dhabi. Like, that's here in Baton Rouge. But the thing you got to remember as well, if you want to go to Supper Club and have the best steak of your life and have a few appetizers, a dessert, bottle of wine, you can do it as affordably as any other restaurant in town. But the experience at Supper Club is unmatched. Introduced open seating at the bar, first come, first serve. So if you knock off of work, you want to head by Supper Club, you can walk in without a reservation, see if you can grab a bar stool or a table by the bar as well. Have a great dinner, maybe cocktail, close some business. Book your reservation, supperclubbtr.com, supperclubbtr.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime during this challenging event. And we're right there with you. Our mobile banking app is a smart way to manage your money and time. Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Today, we are shaping tomorrow.
We are researching how extreme stress impacts the immune system, from trauma victims to athletes and even astronauts.
Our work is leading the way in sepsis treatment, saving countless lives.
We're unlocking the mind with music in exciting new ways.
Our Lady of the Lake Health and LSU are improving the health of our state.
That's the impact of champions.
Imagine the impact we'll have on the future. Together, we roar.
You gotta believe in a dream. Believe. You gotta believe in a dream. Believe.